So, neues Spiel, neues Glück. Wir haben gerade Dram 1, den ersten Part geschafft und ich brauche eine kurze Kaisopause. Also machen wir mal wieder ein bisschen Point-and-Click und das ist noch ein relativ neues Game, ich glaube aus 25. Foolish Mortals. Sehr gut bewertet. Allem möglichen Quality of Life Shit angeblich. Ich habe mir jetzt nicht mehr angeguckt, sondern ich glaube, wir spielen einfach drauf los. Also, here we go. Okay. Interact, Examine, Double Click, Quick Travel. Okay.
They said there was a treasure on the island. Its location, known only to the dead. I could see it in my dreams. How was I supposed to know that in order to find it, I'd have to die too?
Moin Katzenpanner. Das passt hier gerade nicht. Machen wir mal ein bisschen kleiner. Okay, geil. Nur zur Info, steht bei euch im Stream-Title. Ich habe gestern gar kein Internet gehabt. Vorgestern Nachmittag oder abends ist es auch abgebrochen. Ich habe eine massive Störung. Ich habe jetzt gerade Spiele runtergeladen, sogar noch ein, zwei andere Point-and-Clicks, habe ein bisschen rumgesurft. Es funktionierte gerade. Offiziell gibt es die Störung noch. Also wenn der Stream abbricht, fett sorry. Aber ich spiele einfach weiter. Wir machen es für die Aufnahme. Und ich will einfach zocken. Nur, dass ihr es wisst. Ich muss morgen auch noch arbeiten. What the fuck ist mit Chat? Das mache ich dann schon noch morgen. Aber danach geht's weiter. Also, damit wollte ich auch eigentlich nur sagen, am Wochenende, also Point-and-Click-Wochenende ab Donnerstag. Am Wochenende wird kein Kaiser gespielt. Kaiser spielen wir am Montag, denke ich, wieder. Es sei denn, wir haben noch irgendwas Geiles gefunden. Wo ich sage, nee, da will ich lieber Point-and-Click weiterspielen. Das Video zu Dram World 3 Part 1 werde ich auch, ich denke, nach heute Abend oder morgen hochladen. Boah, ansonsten alles cool, ne? Bin sehr gespannt auf das Game. Ich habe mal wieder richtig Bock auf Freunde.
Well, I think you're a fool. Everyone on Devil's Rock knows what happened to that house. Over 30 years it stood empty now. Locals won't go near it. I say all it contains now is dust, cobwebs, and bad luck.
I don't have time for ghost stories.
Then what do you want with it?
33 years ago, the Belmore Trading Company was wound up and absorbed by the state. The owner's dead, the heir nowhere to be found. Money was missing from the company accounts, and it's still unaccounted for. I'm here to find it.
So you're a treasure hunter?
Not quite. I'm an auditor.
An auditor? Records, taxes, all that stuff?
Think of me as the adventurer of the accounts book. But on this case, I'm out of office and on location. At 8 a.m. tomorrow morning, the state's claim on that money lapses for good along with my commission. So I've got one night to find it. I'm overdue for a meeting with the parish comptroller to reopen the case.
The comptroller you're meeting wouldn't happen to be Theodore Grimes, would it?
Yes, I believe it is.
Would be hard to convince him, I'd say.
Why's that? I'm a good talker.
He died about 4 days ago.
Oh, what the
I'd
fuck?
wager he's waiting to be buried in St. Juniper Cemetery, stiff as a board.
Okay, that might be tricky. Talking to the dead isn't quite within my skill set.
Remember what I said about that house and bad luck?
My bad luck started long before that house. It's a 3-day journey to get here, and it took me 7. And ever since my suitcase got dropped overboard on the steamer, all I have to my name is a pocket watch, a magazine, and $1.
Less than $1, actually. You owe me for the taxi ride.
Okay, oh, okay, wir droppen einfach mal rein. Merry and Macabre magazine, The Vanished Wedding. For richer, for poor. Mysterious manor, a bewitched bride, and a treasure trove that remains undiscovered to this very day. Hide beneath a blanket as we recount the spooky story of the vanishing wedding of Belmore Manor. Okay. They say it happened on Halloween night, 1899, on Devil's Rock. Claims are located of Louisianan society. Had been invited to the grand wedding of Abigail Belmore, younger sister of the Belmore brothers, were the owners of Belmore Trading Company, which traded the waters of the Caribbean. British by birth, the brothers took over the Belmore Trading Company upon the tragic death of its original founders, their parents, but also adopting their younger sister. Okay. The wedding of Abigail was said to be the highlight of the year, blah blah blah. Plagued by scandal and tragedy, Abigail had declared her love for a sailor who worked aboard her brother's ships. Issuing the illegible bachelors across the south, Abigail was courted and proposed to by a commoner. Unsure at first, but compelled by their love of their little sister, the brothers sanctioned the marriage and planned to make it a spectacle. But a fairy tale wedding this was not. In the months leading up to the wedding, each of Abigail's brothers one by one went missing, never to be seen again. This writer's theory? Murder. But who could accomplish such a heinous crime? The story takes a mysterious twist. Morning of the wedding, Abigail declared she would not marry the stalwart sailor, but would instead marry John Rackham, first officer of the Belmore Trading Company, and its director following the disappearance of the Belmore brothers. Was the bride stolen from the sailor? Was the bride rescued by the officer? Or were the two men simply pawns of a demonic debutant? Okay. Following morning came, and no newlywed couple was to be found. Through the night, it is said that a huge green flash erupted from the manor house, and no one, not the bride, the groom, nor any of the guests, was ever seen again. The house was abandoned, the Belmore Trading Company broken up and sold off, island left to fade into obscurity. And yet the wealth of the Belmore family was never been found. Gold, jewels, or even more esoteric treasures, all still lie undiscovered. To this day, the house is avoided by anyone who knows its past and still stands at the heart of the Belmore estate, rotting away with its fading secrets still locked inside. What happened to the vanished wedding? What happened to the Belmore treasure? Stories, blah blah blah. Rumors abound that the Belmore brothers had an interest in the occult, and the dalliances with the dark arts may have seduced them. Could voodoo from the Caribbean expeditions have infiltrated Belmore Manor? Okay. John Rackham. On occasion, the night sky above Devil's Rock still illuminates with a green glow, a memory of that fateful night when an entire wedding vanished. Or perhaps it is a beacon to a priceless treasure still waiting for an adventurer foolish enough to pursue it. Till death do us part. Ah, scheiße, geh noch weiter. Okay. The actor, the explorer, the scientist. Sind das die Brüder? Yardley, Xavier und Cecil. Yardley, the actor, illuminary of the stage, of ghosts. When his schedule allowed it, initially writing and performing plays, but in later years commissioning their production through his philanthropic efforts as the schedule was overtaken by the rapidly growing business, okay? Xavier the Explorer, member of the Captain's Club and the Globetrotters Guild, Xavier was the heartbeat of the company's ventures into the Caribbean, where the three brothers made lucrative trading contracts that spread to the United States and across Atlantic. Huh. And Cecil is a scientist, lauded as a genius for his inventions in scientific rigor in the areas of electricity and transportation. Rumors abound about possible technological discoveries that would have been announced if only he had not disappeared. Everything you need to make your own kazoo. Play a book of sheet music and impress your friends. Huh? Okay, war das war's? Ja. Ja. Okay. Jetzt wissen wir ein bisschen was über die Vorgeschichte.
It was the pocket watch I'd been given when I reached 5 years as an auditor. I didn't know whether it was to celebrate the fact or rub it in.
Okay.
It was the only dollar I had left after traveling to Devil's Rock.
Okay, also ich kann noch... Dann kann ich jetzt nicht. Ach klar, aber ich kann toggeln, ob ich hier was machen kann oder nicht. Ah, okay. Was kann man hier noch machen? Achso, hier waren wir. Das heißt, ich könnte jederzeit saven. Okay, interesting. Nein. Sorry. Diary Hotspots. Was ist das? Das mache ich mit dem Mausrad. Okay. Und Diary. Pay the taxi driver. Warning, solutions to Murphy's adventure will be found within these pages. Only proceed when in dire need. Once the diary is opened, click on the gold circle to reveal a new clue. The diary can be closed again. Okay, also das sind wirklich Hints und Hotspots. Hotspot, finde ich, ist... brauche ich. Ich hasse Pixel-Hunting. Ich hasse es, alles abzuklicken. Okay, kann ich irgendwo was machen? Oh ja,
The
müssen wir wohl hier
taxi
was
driver
machen.
was the type to prefer payment over conversation.
Okay, ja, sehr gut. Erstes Rätsel gelöst.
And here's your change.
Didn't you say you'd take me into town?
You can walk from here. No one with any sense would go further onto this island at night. And remember, the tide's coming in. Within the hour, you'll be cut off from the mainland until tomorrow.
That suits me. I took the pocket watch out of my vest and clicked open the cover. I've got 13 hours to find $13 million.
Unlucky for some, but if you're really dead set on it, here's a tip. Go find the Spirit Queen.
The Spirit Queen? Who is that?
I think you'll find you mean, what's that? Good luck, Murphy McAllen.
Murphy McAllen. Prologue, the Spirit Queen.
Walking into the port town of Deadnettle, I could sense its history in every stone, brick, and plank. Echoes of merchant ships loading and unloading all manner of cargo from expeditions throughout the Caribbean. Gold and treasure that may still lie hidden on the island.
Ach so, Quick Travel ist Rennen, das ist Double-Click. Ah. Okay, und so kann man einfach sehen, womit man interagieren kann. I like it. Okay, fangen wir an. Doubloons Jewelry. Okay, you can run, man.
The door was locked with a sign in the window saying, "Closed for private appointment. Reopening shortly." I could see two gentlemen inside the store. A spindly man with a wiry mustache had his face pressed against a display cabinet, while a diminutive older gentleman tried desperately to pull him away. I'd seen similar behavior in Laurel and Hardy pictures.
Message, room aboard, available. What? Available inquire within. Ja. Oh, mal da rein. Achso, da geht man einmal hinten rum. Ah.
Slap me with a paddle. It's a whopper.
Slap me with a paddle? Aw.
Well, blast my barnacles. That's the third one tonight. These fish sure must have been spooked by something.
Okay. Schön, Doc. Also Inszenierung und Mucke und so finde ich erstmal geil. Echt, hier geht gar nichts? Ja. Sign Puppet Theater. Ah.
The sign read, "The fantastic Fantocchio brothers will be performing tonight. All ages welcome. Tips welcome even more." The puppet show hadn't started yet. I had heard of the medical benefits of open-air night swimming. To my mind, the only medical benefit was diagnosing insanity in the people willing to do it.
So,
It was the
change.
change the taxi driver had given me from our drive across the causeway. a dime and a penny. It was the pocket watch I'd been given when I didn't know.
A gate. Steht hier.
The poster advertised billiards at the Captain's Club, with 3 billiard balls and 2 cues framing a cube of billiard chalk. I shook the gate, but it wasn't going to open. Down the passageway, I could make out a portion of an illuminated courtyard and the echoing trickle of a fountain. I thought better of swimming out to the wreck. As best as I could tell, all it contained was dock mud and the future promise of an antibiotics prescription.
So, das ist zum Dock. Ja. Oh, gehen wir jetzt hier oben lang.
The clothesline was decidedly out of reach, even for a person who wanted to steal someone's freshly laundered undergarments. I wasn't one of those people. The door led into a building that had Juniper Parish Gazette painted on the side. Of all of the papers pinned to the board, one article stood out to me. It showed the beaming face of a rotund fisherman on the docks with a headline declaring he'd just broken the island's heaviest catch record.
Okay.
Of all of the papers pinned, it showed the beaming...
So immer das gleiche. Okay. Okay, wir mal gucken. Kommen wir da rein? Was ist an?
It was the door to a newspaper office. A note on the door said, "Out on a scoop. Back later."
Schade. Telegraph pole.
I wasn't going to climb the mast. I had neither the proficiency with electrical equipment nor the desire to get electrocuted.
Ja, aber hier oben geht's irgendwas mit Blood canned beef.
The billboard poster was peeling away to reveal layers of advertisements underneath, like some sort of consumeristic onion. The fishing net was worn and useless. Using it would have been like trying to catch soup with a sieve. Are the fish biting?
Not so well today, to tell the truth. That was the first nibble in hours. I'm near Kip's, by the way. I haven't seen you around here before.
I'm here because I have a very important job on this island. A calling that only I can fulfill. Dark secrets that I need to uncover.
Oh, you're a tourist. Now, why on earth would you choose Devil's Rock as the place to vacation?
I must have done something to upset my travel agent. The name's Murphy McCallan.
Nice to meet you, Mac. Not peckish, are you? You can help yourself to what I got here in my bucket if you like.
Oh, thanks. My expectations of a local seafood delicacy quickly unraveled when I plunged my hands into what felt like lumpy jelly. Ugh! It was a handful of fish guts.
Ha! That's the best bait you get around here. They smell pretty bad, but the critters on this island love them. Who would have known they're good at suckering in tourists, too?
Oh. Have you heard of the Spirit
Have you
Queen?
heard of the Spirit Queen?
Heard of her? Sure. But I wouldn't be heading out into the bayou at this time of night.
If she's out there, that's where I need to go.
Murphy, bayou's dangerous. It's not the kind of place you want to go alone.
I'll be careful.
Well, if you're set on it, just take the western route out of town. Left at Pimlico Rock, then right on into the bayou. Without Docket gets in there, you'll see the lights guiding you the last stretch of the way. Just make sure the gators don't get too attached to you.
Gators. Ah, oh, we haben the world map. Nice. Okay.
What's life like in Dead Nettle?
Well, it's not the hustle and bustle it used to be, but it suits me just fine. The ships just don't come through Dead Nettle anymore. Not since the disappearance.
He must have been talking about the Belmore wedding. The locals actually believed the story. Have you ever considered moving to the mainland?
Nah, crazies, oddballs, crackpots. The mainland doesn't have any of them.
What's that you're reading?
This is Herman Melville's Moby Dick.
Are you enjoying it?
I'm struggling my way through it, to be honest. I thought it was a how-to book. I much prefer the last book I read. It was much more action-packed.
What book was that?
The Encyclopedia of Fishing Lures, 3rd edition.
I'm going to get back to exploring the island.
I wouldn't go looking for it if I were you, you know.
Excuse me?
The folks this island gets now either seem to be looking for something or running away from something. You look like you're doing both. You got your eye on that Belmore treasure, and I wouldn't be doing right by you if I didn't warn you to stay away from it. I know this island has a reputation for the macabre, and it's all fun and games in the beginning, but dig too deep, and you end up in the place you don't want to be.
What makes you think I... Ned looked at me in a way that told me my playing innocent wasn't going to work. Okay, that's right, but I'm not a grave robber. I'm an auditor, contracted by the state.
It don't matter what your reasons are, Mac. You need to be careful with that house. Us locals, we don't go anywhere near it.
I appreciate the concern, but who can really say they've seen a ghost?
I have, Murphy, and I'm not the only one. Ever since the disappearance, anyone brave or foolish enough to go up to their house has seen the same thing. You might say it was moonlight shimmering off dusty glass, the shadow of a tree branch, or a curtain blown by an unseen breeze. But deep down, we all know what we saw.
What did you see?
The Phantom. It's not something anyone will forget. Every poor soul who's seen the Phantom has been plagued by the most awful experience. Night after night of endless nightmares. Months of restless sleep. Just visions of faces. Evil faces. Laughing. It's like it can infect your dreams.
And who do you think the Phantom is? Or was?
Nobody knows. But it must have been someone at that awful wedding. Someone who doesn't want to leave the house. Or doesn't want to let anyone in.
I appreciate your concern, but I have a job to do. I don't think my boss would be too happy if I report back that ghosts and ghouls are what's standing in my way.
You're not the first to come looking for the treasure, you know.
But if I find it, I could be the last.
Whether you find it or not, I hope that's true. For everyone's sake.
Ned's talk of nightmares was the last thing I needed to be worried about. Even if it was a job, ever since I read about the Belmore treasure, all I could do was dream about finding it.
Ah.
To make
Okay.
use of that, I needed something to weigh.
Pocketwatch wiegen.
I couldn't do that.
Okay, also.
I couldn't.
So, man kann auch kombinieren.
Nope,
Das macht ja keinen Sinn.
that didn't work.
Okay, dann.
I had more important things to do than fish. My pockets still reeked from the last handful of fish guts. I didn't need any more. I decided to leave Ned to his fishing.
Seems good. Okay, hier ist noch der Weg zur Island. Achso, das ist einfach der Ausgang. Okay. Probieren wir was. Wenn ich jetzt wieder reinkomme und den anderen Weg rausgehe. Quick Travel funktioniert ja pervers gut. Geht er dann auch einfach raus oder ist da noch was? Okay. Also wir können dann auch nur erstmal zum Causeway Beach.
As I returned to the beach, I could see the causeway was now fully flooded over by the rising tide. I was trapped here until dawn. There would be no way to cross the causeway back to the mainland until the tide had gone down.
Hey girl! Oh, wir gucken erstmal.
I didn't want to take the little girl's balloon from her. Her brooding face made it more than clear that it wouldn't be a good idea to get on her bad side. Despite the little girl's disparaging look at her tiny toy, I doubted she'd be okay with me commandeering it. I peered into the tide pools, but all I could see was pebbles, sand, and seaweed. Hello? Little girl? Have you lost your mommy and daddy? It's late, there could be a lot of strange people around.
Yeah, I think I'm talking to one.
Maybe I should introduce myself. My name's Murphy McCallan. What's yours?
Mallory Whisk, angel on the outside, malevolent force of disparagement, derision, and disorder on the inside.
Sure.
At least, that's what Mrs. Huxley wrote in my school report. Hey, do you know what an enfant terrible is?
Do your parents know you're here?
Of course they do. This is my happy place. I come here when I need to cheer up.
What's got you down?
It's my birthday. and I didn't get the present I wanted.
Well, happy birthday. Is being out here helping?
A little. It's a nice place to plot my revenge.
This doesn't sound like an appropriate way for a little girl to spend her time.
Little girl? Little girl? What am I supposed to like? Posies and princesses? Tiaras and tea parties? Those are not my thing.
Okay. Oh, you're planning on getting revenge.
How are you planning on getting revenge?
I'm not sure. Currently, I'm at the plotting and ruminating stage of my plan.
What are you plotting and ruminating about?
How things would be different if I was in charge of the world. We had a school project last week. What we want to be when we grow up. Mildred wanted to be a baker. Bobby wanted to be a firefighter.
What did you want to be?
Queen of the universe.
I guess no one can accuse you of lacking ambition. Do you think you could fix the world's problems and make the world a better place if you were in charge?
Oh, absolutely not. It would be far worse. My patience is worn so thin with all the idiots around me. I don't know if it would be wise for me to wield that much power. You to the dungeons! You to the torture room! It would be very cathartic for me, though.
What present did you want for your birthday?
A doll?
A doll?
What's wrong with wanting a doll?
Nothing. I just didn't expect it. It doesn't quite fit with your whole aura.
I'm still a little girl. I don't have to defy all your stereotypes. Instead, I get this stupid tin boat. I know Sebastian's got something to do with it, too. He was all over the tin boat when I showed him my toy catalog from Mulligan's.
Is he one of your friends?
Not in a million years. You can see right through him.
Shouldn't you be heading home?
I'm in trouble at home. Mrs. Huxley held me back for detention yesterday. Again.
What did you do?
I convinced 3/4 of the class to sign over their eternal souls to me in exchange for some jelly beans. Third graders are remarkably easy to manipulate with a bag of candy and a little peer pressure.
Why did you do that?
You've got to speculate to accumulate.
Why did you want their souls? What use do you have for them?
Just making sure I'm prepared. And that's just step one.
I didn't dare ask what she was preparing for. Have you heard of the Spirit Queen?
Look, if Maury put you up to this, you can tell him that I have no intention of going anywhere near his big, boring boat again. And anyway, those skulls look better with a little lipstick on them. I even made some cowrie necklaces for them, but nope. If we have a skeletal uprising, they're just going to have to maraud without being dolled up. And they'll have to take it up with Maury.
Who's Moray?
Nope, not falling for it.
What?
Do you like living on Devil's Rock?
This island is cut off from society, an isolated microcosm of the dark and macabre. If I'm honest, it fits me quite nicely. Lots of places to explore, too, when I'm not banned from.
Where are you banned from?
Where am I not? The captain's club wouldn't let me in after I declared a mutiny. The lady at the newspaper office kicked me out when I tried selling stories about a zombie uprising. The witch doctor in the bayou threatened to hex me if I didn't stop sneaking on board and borrowing his toys. And the gravedigger banned me from the cemetery when I played a teensy little practical joke.
What did you do?
I convinced him the stiff he'd buried was still alive. People are so antisocial around here.
Okay, die Kleine
I'd
ist
better get going.
wild.
I wouldn't walk across the beach again if I were you. This beach is covered in quicksand. I can hop along the surface, but with your weight, you'll be sucked down like a noodle.
Oh no. Really? This beach has quicksand?
Nah, I'm just messing with you. Tourists.
Läuft. Abend. Aktuell ja. Ich konnte jetzt gerade hier so 1,5 Stunden was machen, deswegen streamen wir jetzt. Wenn der Stream abstürzt, weil das Internet doch nicht geht, dann ist das so. Ich spiele weiter für die Aufnahme, kann man auf YouTube später gucken. Also gerade läuft's, aber offiziell gibt's die Internetstörung noch. So. Wollen die noch was anderes fragen? Nee,
I
ne?
thought it best to leave Mallory to her ruminating.
Ich habe gerade gedacht, während sie gesprochen hat, kann man hier mit irgendwas machen?
Nope. Nope.
Schade. Okay. Das heißt, wir können hier eigentlich wieder weg, ne? Kommen wir hier noch weiter? Ja. Okay. Dann bleibt uns ja nur noch der Bayou. Ah, the Spirit Queen.
After what felt like miles, the eerie darkness of the bayou gave way to the soft orange glow of a gas lamp. And beyond it, the last thing I expected to find in the heart of the swamp. Hand-painted lettering on the side of a paddle wheel revealed the Spirit Queen wasn't a person, it was a riverboat. Its hull sagged, the wood swollen and split from years in the swamp. Peeling paint curled like dead skin, and what remained of its once grand decks now tilted and crooked. It looked like a wedding cake that had been left to rot.
Okay, ich wollte sagen, kann ich was machen? Okay.
I considered climbing the water tower, but I couldn't imagine what I'd find at the top other than stagnant, moldy water. And there was plenty of that in the bayou already.
True. Guck mal, Bayou.
I may have been new to the bayou, but even I knew that plunging my hand into alligator-infested waters wasn't a good idea. The sign read Dockmaster. Presumably, this little shack was where documents and licenses pertaining to the riverboat's operation were stored. I jiggled the handle, but the door was locked. The damp air of the bayou had swelled the window in its frame. It would need more force than my bare hands could supply to open it.
Okay, aber mit mehr Force könnte ich das vielleicht aufmachen. Shrunken Head. Okay. Point and click 101.
As I took the shrunken head from the sign, it almost seemed to grin at me. Creepy.
Aber ich nehme es mit.
It was a shrunken head with wispy white hair and tightly shut eyes.
Oh, nee, wollte ich nicht.
The damp air of the bayou had swelled the wind. It would need more force. A fierce-looking alligator blocked my way along the jetty. A broken chain hung from its neck like a leash, but this creature definitely wasn't under control. Its milky eyes stared past me, but I could tell from the way it shifted, the way its nostrils flared, that it knew exactly where I was.
Okay.
A swiveling wooden crane used to load up cargo in days gone by stood halfway along the jetty.
Ja gut, meine erste Idee wäre natürlich, den Fish-Shit zu nehmen.
That didn't work.
Oh.
The fish guts could definitely draw the alligator's attention, but not if they sank into the bayou.
Okay.
Hand-feeding the alligator didn't seem like a good idea. What if it bit off more than I was offering?
Okay.
The shrunken head was already disturbing enough without shoving rotting seafood inside it.
Gehen wir näher ran, mal gucken, was passiert.
The alligator snapped at me like a sprung trap, giving me more than enough reason to stay well away from those teeth. If I wanted to get across the jetty, I needed to make sure the alligator wasn't on it.
Okay.
Once the riverboat would have been a symbol of opulence and decadence. Now it looked plain sinister.
Jetzt bin ich ein bisschen verwirrt. Ich kann nicht das hier einfach hier
Fish
reinlegen.
guts could definitely draw the alligator's attention.
Nee. Ich mit den Münzen irgendwie das
That
Fenster
wasn't
auf?
going to work.
Schade. Ist noch was ich machen kann? Nicht wirklich, aber ich könnte ihn hier mal fragen. Foolish Mortals
Good evening, Ned.
heißt das
Hello
Game.
again, Mac.
You didn't tell me the Spirit Queen was a riverboat.
Oh, sure. That thing's been moored up in the bayou with her keel kissing the mud for years. Witch doctor lives aboard her now. Claims to sell all manner of hoodoo and voodoo. But to believe that, you need to be dumber than the bachelor in New Orleans, throwing beads at the Sisters of Mercy.
Catch you later, Ned.
See you around, Mac.
Ja, schade. ist schon ein bisschen verwirrt. Kann ich ihm den Kopf zeigen?
What do you think of this shrunken head?
You didn't get that from Dr. Morey, did you? My advice would be to use your own head. Keep away from that stuff.
Okay, danke, Bro.
Would you like these back?
You can keep them. Don't worry. You'll get used to the smell. Eventually.
I had more important things to do.
Ja, wirklich? Ich hätte gern...
That wasn't going to work.
Schade. Kann den wiegen?
I needed to think of something else.
Schade. Ah, hätte sein können. Okay, das hier ist alles weiterhin zu... Hier unten ist auch irgendwie nichts. Das hier hat noch nicht angefangen. Okay. Ah. Das, wenn ich ihr den Head zeige, findet ihr das geil? Obscure. Irgendwie ihr Ding.
How would you like to trade your tin boat for this?
A doll?
At least the head of one.
Ah, okay.
Deal!
Das ist ihre Puppe, die sie jetzt unbedingt zum Geburtstag haben wollte.
Oh, I'll hug him and kiss him and conquer the world with him.
Prepare to weigh anchor. It was a toy boat made of tin, with a motor you could wind up so it puttered around in the water. I packed the fish guts into the tin boat. It was the smelliest little ship to sail the 7 seas.
Okay. Jetzt haben wir das kleine Boot, das rumfährt. Oh. Who the fuck are you?
Mr. McAllen,
Yes? How do you know my name?
it's a work assignment that brings you to the island. Am I right?
She began staring at me with intense, hypnotic eyes. Disguised within her tailored outfit and tortoiseshell spectacles, she had the crazed look of someone not entirely in touch with reality. That's right.
An auditing job.
Eyes that looked like she was reading my very thoughts. Yes?
And you're late. Days late.
I was beginning to panic. Ned had warned me about the supernatural on this island. Was this person standing in front of me equipped with psychic powers that could read my very thoughts? How do you know all this? Are you the witch doctor?
The witch doctor? No. It was written on this telegram that came in for you. It came through a few days ago now. Your boss isn't too happy by the looks of it. Bill Bolam, the taxi driver, telephoned and said I'd find you out here.
You're reading my telegrams?
I'm a newspaper reporter. It's one of the best ways to get a good story. Now, do you want it or not?
If you wouldn't mind.
McAllen, you're late reporting in. I don't remember authorizing the reopening of a cold case, but you better make sure it pays off, or you'll be swapping desks back to the mailroom. Sid Sinclair Auditing Company.
Do you want to send a reply?
What was there to say? My only contact was going to be pushing up daisies by morning, and my one lead was the magazine I'd been carrying with me since heading out. Before I checked in with my boss, I needed some progress to report badly. You know, for now I'll just leave it.
Suit yourself. Sounds like you're up to some fun on the island, Murphy. Be a sweetie and keep me updated so I have something to write about, won't you?
She didn't even wait for a reply before she started striding back through the bayou. She hadn't taken a single thing from me, and yet somehow, I still felt like I'd just been mugged.
Okay, also die ist dann wahrscheinlich ein Newspaper-Bums vom Jupiter. Ja, also in solchen Games muss man viel Sachen suchen, Rätsel lösen, weiterkommen. Wie jetzt das erste größere Rätsel ist wahrscheinlich an diesem Alligator vorbeizukommen. Aber ich habe ja jetzt Fischinnereien, die auf diesem Boot sind. Und das kann doch bestimmt hier fahren.
Perhaps this would attract the gator's attention.
Ja.
The hulking mass of scales and muscles lump.
Oh, fuck, kurz ich wegdrücken.
I may have been new to the bayou, but even.
So, und jetzt kicken wir ihn weg, oder?
Ready? Aim.
Run! Run!
With a splash that would be the envy of any cannonballing kid at a pool party, the irritable reptile disappeared into the murky bayou. I just hoped it didn't hold a grudge.
Ja, nee, ist klar, da habe ich gerade eine Steam-Trophy für gekriegt. See you later, Alligator. Natürlich. So, okay. Taxidermed fish.
A taxidermied fish. The taxidermied fish looked like it was barely hanging on to the rotting wooden frame. Deciding it would be better coming with me, I picked it up. And in doing so, tore a long hole in its previously stitched up seam. It was the taxidermied fish I'd taken from the riverboat, with a ripped seam opening up to the stuffing inside.
Okay. So, da kommen wir rein. Weit wieder weggehen, um das zu lesen.
The writing on the paddle wheel said in fancy painted letters, the Spirit Queen.
Okay. Auf zum Witch Doctor.
Spirits and specters from realms yet unknown, guide to me the wanderer who searches alone. Welcome, Murphy McCallan.
How do you know my name? Have you been reading my telegrams too?
I have no need for such trivial paperwork. I have eyes all over this island. Now it's time for me to see you for myself. Come, step into the light.
Eine Drama Queen, wa?
I know a lot about you, Murphy. Unknown parents, a childhood spent in orphanages. I know things about you even you don't know.
How do you know all that?
My name is Dr. Morey. I am a conjurer, a shadow man, a controller of spirits that balance the line between life and death. And those spirits whisper to me. But for now, it's your time to talk, Murphy. Tell me why you've come to my humble abode.
I've been told you could help me.
That depends on what you seek.
I kept telling myself that the doctor's theatrics didn't convince me. That there must have been a logical reason why he knew what he did. But with how skittish the locals were, humoring him seemed like my only chance of learning more. I'm looking for the $13 million that went missing from the Belmore accounts. I'm an auditor in the company I work for.
Murphy, do you take me for a fool? I know what your mind sees when your eyes are closed. Tell me, Murphy, what do you dream of?
Oh. Dream about completing my work assignment. I dream about finding the lost treasure of... Ich will schon den Treasure, ne? Scheiß auf Arbeit.
I dream about finding the lost treasure of Belmore Manor.
I see that spirit within you, hungering for more than an auditor's life. And I know you've dreamed about that treasure every night since you first read the story. Tell me I'm not right.
It's like the treasure is calling out for me to find it.
Many have sought the lost treasure of Belmore Manor. All have failed. Some, it is said, have perished in the process. Do you know what happened at Belmore Manor all those years ago?
The ghost story? I've read it, but I don't know how much of it is really true.
All of it.
Alles
Dark
wahr?
magic runs throughout Belmore Manor. The house was built by the Belmore brothers, 3 merchants from England, who made their fortune trading across the Caribbean. Xavier Belmore, an explorer. Yardley Belmore, an actor. And Cecil Belmore, a scientist. Their parents dead for many years, they each loved and cared for their young sister, Abigail. Abigail met a young sailor who worked aboard her brother's ships, and in less than a year, he proposed. The engagement was a scandal. Despite having the pick of any eligible bachelor in high society, her hand and her share of the Belmore fortune was to go to a commoner. Because of their unconditional love for their young sister, the Belmore brothers sanctioned the union. But people began to wonder if Abigail was being locked into marriage, whether by blackmail or black magic. The 3 proud brothers planned a grand wedding, but in the months leading up to it, one by one, each of the brothers was lost, presumed dead. And yet the wedding was still to go ahead. and with Abigail set to inherit the entire Belmore fortune once she came of age, people began to wonder whether the sailor was not a perpetrator, but a pawn. On the morning of the wedding, Abigail summoned the sailor to her chambers. "I don't love you," Abigail declared. "I never loved you." And before the guests gathered in the house, Abigail declared that she would marry another on that same evening. John Rackham, first officer of the Belmore Trading Company, would be her new groom. Except that didn't happen. That night, everyone in the house suddenly and mysteriously vanished. Perhaps it was the last revenge of the scorned sailor. In the house that night was a heart that would be broken, a victim who would be tricked, and a force that would unleash evil. But no one knows exactly who each was. If you want to find the treasure, Murphy, you'll have to find out.
Okay.
You're telling me that all of that actually happened?
And so much more, Murphy. Mysteries you have yet to uncover.
Dr. Morey's performance was gripping, but it seemed like something out of the vaudeville shows I'd snuck into as a teenager. Grifters peddling magic spells, fortune-telling, and miracle elixirs. At least that's what I tried to tell myself. And the treasure, is that real too?
It is as real as you are, Murphy. And someone went to a lot of trouble hiding it.
Can you help me find it?
I can. If you can prove your dedication to the search, I will need you to retrieve something from inside the house. A small leather pouch called a gree-gree still lies inside Abigail Belmore's bedroom. We will need it if I'm to help you. This will get you inside.
Okay.
You're not gonna pull a rabbit out of your hat for your next trick, are you?
I do not do tricks, Murphy McCallan. You'll soon learn this. The Belmore estate lies at the end of the northeastern peninsula of Devil's Rock. Find that gree-gree and bring it back to me.
Okay, also da ist die Belmore Residence.
I'll be here when you return. And Murphy, this ghost story? Now it's your story, too.
Oh, kann ich hier nichts machen?
There was no use returning to the riverboat without the gree-gree. I needed to go to Belmore Manor. It was an old brass key to the front doors of Belmore Manor.
Okay. Also, er sagt, das ist alles wahr und irgendwie hat er Magie, oder was? Ist jetzt auf? Nein, ne?
I jiggled the handle, but the damp air of the body would need more.
Aber der passt nicht hier.
The key was only going to work.
Okay. Eine Idee. Ich will aber mal eben kurz zurück zu der Jupiter-Tante. Oder steht hier was Neues?
Of all of the papers, it showed the beaming face of a rotund fisherman on the docks. It was the door to a newspaper office. A note.
Ah ne, sie ist noch weg. Okay. Kleine sitzt da noch. Die Kleine sitzt da nicht mehr. Okay. Gut, auf zu Männer.
Framed by trees and lit by moonlight, Belmore Manor stood imposingly in the still night air. Even without any lights on, it felt like something inside the house was calling me. Or warning me.
Oh, warning. Okay, Island, hinter das Haus, Pond, Tür. Oh man.
From the outside, I couldn't spot any clues to the location of the Belmore treasure. I considered wading into the pond, water up to my waist, squelching my way through the reeds and mud, past frogs, bugs, and water snakes. Then I realized I had absolutely no reason to do that.
Ja, rennen wir erstmal ein bisschen drumrum. Jetzt hier, ne? Das ist auch ein Path. Okay, hier ist Island. Also hier geht's nur wieder zurück. Das ist wohl ein Weg ums Haus herum. Furniture.
From the patina of rust, it was clear the patio set hadn't been used in decades. Ouch! So much for good luck.
Ja, nimm mit.
I picked up the horseshoe that had assaulted me. It was heavy, as the bump on my head attested. It was a heavy iron.
Look at the moon.
Gazing up at the glowing moon, it reminded me of a poem I could recite by heart, even if I couldn't remember where I'd first heard it. From way up high, the moon can spy beyond where eyesight delves. But with some time, the maritime can see those sights themselves.
Okay, Moment, das muss ich nochmal hören. Gesagt? Oh. Wohl eine Rolle spielen.
Gazing up at the glowing moon, it reminded me of a poem I could recite by heart, even if I couldn't remember where I'd first heard it. From way up high, the moon can spy beyond where eyesight delves. But with some time, the maritime can see those sights themselves.
Okay. Kann ich jetzt noch nicht deuten. Komm, wir nehmen erstmal diesen Path. Ist das der Weg dann drumherum?
Looking out over the tranquility of the gardens, its magnolias lit by moonlight, nothing could take my attention away from the macabre sight dangling from the oak tree. A hanged skeleton, its wedding suit little more than tattered rags clinging to bone, and its skull seemingly watching me with hollow, unblinking eyes. An eternal groom without a bride.
Okay. Hat ein Gold in der Hand.
The skeleton hung high up in the tree, swaying with each slight breeze. Even from down on the ground, I felt disturbingly close to it. The stark trunk of the tree didn't offer any possibility of climbing it.
Okay. Hier sehen wir schon mal irgendwie. Ja, der ein Schwert, der ein Buch, der ein Schild, Schild und Schwert. Ja. So, wenn wir hier gehen. Ah, okay. Sind wir wieder hier. Und was haben wir hier Feines?
The wheel was too heavy to move. The doors were firmly locked from the inside. The cow skull was out of reach, high up on the gable. The barrel dangled from the rope like a piñata, but having this burst over my head would be the first step in getting tarred and feathered. The knot was tied so tightly I couldn't loosen it. The handle turned, but the door was restrained by the taut rope tied to it. From its other end dangled a heavy barrel full of molasses.
Okay. Also hier können wir nicht viel machen. Macht ja Sinn. Oh. Dann ab zur Tür.
From the outside, I couldn't spot.
So geil, dass man sieht, womit man interagieren kann. Ich liebe es jedes Mal.
I needed the key to open it. With a deep breath, I placed the key into the lock of the house I'd been thinking about for weeks and turned it. Hello? I don't know if I expected a reply, but with only an echo in response, it seemed like nobody was home.
Bestimmt.
I hope that was just the wind.
Fängt ja gut an. Doors.
An orb appeared seemingly from nowhere, glowing and shimmering with energy, simultaneously captivating and terrifying. It was like it had a presence, an aura that I couldn't explain. My first instinct was to look for smoke and mirrors, but this illusion was right before my very eyes, one that I could reach out and touch.
Okay.
With neither of the doors appearing to open, I peered through the crack between them. I couldn't tell if I was imagining things, but it looked like shadows dancing.
Okay.
It was a painting of Abigail Belmore, hauntingly beautiful. The door didn't have a visible lock, but as much as I tried, it wouldn't open. It was a painting of the gazebo I recognized from the cliff top.
Okay. In die Einstellung. Hier noch was ändern. Save Game Recaps. Sure. Okay, nee, kann ich aber nicht noch was ändern. Ich dachte gerade irgendwie, ich kann vielleicht Grafik ein bisschen anpassen, aber ich finde für mich, wenn der Bildschirm scrollt zur Seite, ruckelt es ganz leicht. Aber dann ist das so. So, Fireplace.
Without a flue, the fireplace seemed entirely decorative, and yet, standing in front of it, I could feel a breeze.
Okay, was geht's hier? So, hier ist Ende. Okay.
It was a family portrait of all 4 Belmore siblings. The 3 brothers stood around their seated younger sister. Like the other door, this door had no keyhole, yet still seemed to be locked too.
Okay, was ist das? Poseidon oder so?
The 2 sea deities stared at me with disapproving eyes. I didn't know what I could have done to disappoint a statue.
Okay, dort. Wie ging das bei die andere Tür? Ah. Achso, führt beides hier hoch. Grand Hall. Ja. Oder? Ja. East Corridor? West Corridor. Ja, sicher gehen wir erstmal East. Weg von dem Ding.
The portrait exuded an unsettling aura. I didn't know who it was, but I didn't like the way he looked back at me. I tried to open the trunk, but in the darkness I only managed to fumble unsuccessfully with the latch.
What the fuck? Okay, XC, was steht hier hinten?
The door was marked Y, possibly the chambers of Yardley Belmore.
Ach, klar.
The door was marked C. I guessed it was Cecil Belmore's bedroom. The door was marked X, presumably the room of... Thick red curtains hung... There was nothing behind the curtains. There was nothing behind...
Mal gucken wir irgendwo in die Zimmer.
The door was locked. The door was locked. The door was locked.
Und mal hier noch ein extra Geräusch.
The door was locked. The door was locked. The door was locked.
Ja, jetzt hat man was extra gehört.
The door was locked. The door was locked.
Irgendwo ist eine Tür aufgegangen. Naja, gehen wir mal zurück.
This was strange. I didn't remember seeing any lights on when I was outside the house.
True. Servant bells.
I couldn't ring the bells from the hallway. I couldn't ring the bells from.
Das ist ja auch nicht. Nö.
The door was locked. The door was locked.
Okay.
I looked behind the curtains, but there was nothing there. Walking into the room, I realized it must have been Abigail's bedroom. I was in the right place. Somewhere in this room was the Gree-Gree, and I needed to find it.
Mal ein Gree-Gree ist. Cool. Ich dachte, wir hören was.
The sheets lay flat on the bed, undisturbed for more than 30 years. The Gree-Gree wasn't going to be there.
Okay, länger als 30 Jahre ist hier nichts passiert. Also muss das, wissen wir, wann das passiert ist? Weil in der Zeitung vorhin, in diesem Rückblick, den der Witch Doctor uns gezeigt hat, das war ja die Erklärung von dem, was hier in der Zeitung steht. Hier steht kein Datum. Da stand, die Zeitung war von 1899. Also muss das Vanishing ja 1899 passiert sein. Oder 1900. Also 1899 war die Zeitung, die gezeigt hat, Skandal, die Tochter der Belmore Trading Company will Sailor heiraten. Und dann hat es noch ein paar Monate gedauert. Das heißt, jetzt ist es irgendwie 1930 oder so. Oder können wir das auf dem Telegramm sehen? Ah, 1933. Oktober 1933. Ah, und es war ein Halloween. Also ein paar Wochen ist hier auch Halloween. Okay. Interesting. Reply prepaid.
It was the telegram from my boss.
McAllen, I don't... Sid Sinclair.
It was the
McAllen, I don't remember Sid Sinclair.
So, da haben wir den Poker. Fireplace. Huh?
I took the poker from the hook.
Okay.
Get out.
I hope that was my imagination.
What the fuck?
Lighting the fire may have warmed the room, but it couldn't take away the chill I felt standing there. Lighting the fire may have warmed the room, but it couldn't take away the... I tried to lift the ashpan grate, but decades without use had rusted it in place. I wedged the poker in the grate, and with all my might, pulled. I picked up the object that had been glinting in the fireplace and discovered it was a jeweled brooch. It was an ornate brooch that had tarnished with age. What should have been a sparkling gem was now grimy and dull.
Interesting.
There was nothing I could do with the tabletop. The music box was locked with no visible keyhole, but a distinctive indent on the front looked like it might be the mechanism to open it, if I had the right key.
Achso, wenn man hier so ein Ding... Ist das die Brooch?
The brooch fitted snugly into the indentation in the music box.
Hey!
With a small click, the music box opened and revealed the contents it had held untouched for more than 30 years.
Achso, die haben wir jetzt wieder.
The small leather bag was just as the witch doctor had described. It was hard to imagine what could be so important about it.
Ah, ghost!
You should not be here.
Wait, I can explain.
You don't belong here.
I don't mean any harm.
Get out. Get out.
Okay.
With good fortune, the pond had broken my fall. It was a strange juxtaposition, wiggling goldfish out of my underwear as I tried to process the fact that I'd just been the victim of an attempted murder by a ghost bride. The stories were true, so that meant the treasure might be real as well. And Now I had the Gree. It was time to return to the Spirit Queen.
Ah,
Murphy, did you find it?
I saw her. I saw the bride. She tried to kill me.
I told you it was true. Now, do you have the Gree?
Yes, I found it.
Good. Good. Now, do you believe what I've been telling you?
I'm starting to. Why did she try to kill me?
There are some spirits that, even in death, do not wish to give up what they amassed in life. The question is, are you strong enough to persuade them?
I would be if they'd give me a chance to ask them.
Precisely. That will be our next step.
A manuscript for a voodoo spell? A spell to help me find the treasure?
A spell to reveal those who know where it is.
aha.
There are many things on this island that have gone unseen. Stories that have been left unheard, at least by mortals. But I commune with realms beyond. Let me introduce you to a friend. Out of the shadows, the cursed and the damned, return now, my servants, to do my command.
I have returned to you, Master.
Loa, this gentleman wishes to find the lost treasure of Belmore Manor. Tell him how this can be done.
Only inhabitants of the house know where the treasure lies. Their spirits still within its walls, trapped between life and death. To ask them, those spirits must be pulled back to the mortal realm.
And that is what our spell will do, Murphy. A summoning spell to unveil the ghost trapped within the house.
7 ingredients place inside, tie closed and then unseal. Within the focus what may hide, this spell will soon reveal.
Once you've collected all 7, we can summon the ghosts of Belmore Manor. Once we've summoned the ghosts, we can ask them exactly where the treasure was hidden. You have served me, Loa. Be gone.
Okay.
That, Murphy, is your goal. Find the 7 ingredients named in the voodoo manuscript, place them in the Gree, and return to the Spirit Queen. Are you up to the task?
I think so.
Excellent. Then there's just one thing left to do. The Gree that you carry is not yours. It was stolen from the spirits. And an artifact of voodoo will only work for its rightful owner. To be used, it cannot be stolen. It can only be bought or traded or inherited. Fortunately for you, the spirits and I are willing to make a trade for something symbolic of your spirit. The spirit that yearns to escape its humdrum life. If you want the Gree to be rightfully yours, what do you have to offer in exchange for it?
Okay. Ich gehe erstmal um.
Taking some of the witch doctor's candles wasn't going to help me. Gazing into the spirit pool, I thought I could see formless faces gazing back at me. I didn't need to talk to the witch doctor yet. I needed an item to trade for the Gree.
Wieso mit ihm?
It was a small leather pouch with
Genau, das will ich mir mal angucken. Also wir
At the
brauchen...
center of the manuscript was an empty circle with arrows pointing inward from each of the ingredients. It was marked the focus.
Okay, das ist das, was der gesagt hat. Aber ja, wir brauchen Sargnägel, Kreide, schwarze Federn, Gunpowder, eine Silbermünze, Rum und Bone Fragment. Okay.
It was a
Ups.
It was a
Ich hier wieder raus. Ja, das Einzige, was ich habe, wäre jetzt meine Pocket Watch, ne?
It was the pocket watch I'd been given. I didn't know whether it was to celebrate the fact.
Das ist so das Einzige von mir, was ich mit habe.
What about this?
A pocket watch, a symbol of the life that doesn't satisfy you, a symbol of lost time. Dare you give it up?
I think I can do without it.
Then cast it into the spirit pool. The spirits have deemed it a satisfactory trade. The Grigri and its powers are now rightfully yours to wield. You are ready now, Murphy. Head out to the island and retrieve the ingredients we need. Then I will show you the final step of the spell.
How am I going to find what I need?
Everything I've ever needed for my voodoo spells, I've found here. It's as though this island draws the supernatural to it. The bayou, the beach, the town, the manor, all will help you in your search. Tell me, Murphy, have you visited the mill to the north, the fort to the south, the church at the island's heart? The island will lead you to that which you seek. I have no doubt about that.
Für 3 neue Sachen direkt, oder? Jo. Okay. Also jetzt die 7 Sachen finden.
How are the ghosts trapped within Belmore Manor?
The explosion is what sealed their fate. They exist now only as spirits, the form they should take in the spirit realm, and yet they remain here in the mortal realm. The ghosts are trapped in that house, unseen, unheard, and unable to interact with the world around them. This spell will change that.
How is the bride able to attack me when she's supposedly unseen and unheard?
Voodoo works best when attuned to emotion, and the strongest of those emotions can sometimes push beyond the known limits. She must have been very angry with you.
If I summon the spirits of the house, won't I also summon the bride again?
Very true, Murphy. Best be a little more persuasive this time.
What was the explosion that caused everyone to disappear?
It was a tearing in the very threshold between life and death, a chain reaction of spirit energy suddenly unleashed by the most violent of emotions. Just as the bride's anger allowed her to manifest in front of you this very evening, think of the rage that must have caused an entire household to explode and vanish.
Who was the creature that you talked to?
That is my Loa. The Loa are the mysteries, the invisibles, the messengers.
Is it a ghost?
No, they are the intermediaries between humans and the supernatural. There are 2 planes of existence, Murphy. The mortal realm and the spirit realm. Loa can move between them both. With my powers, I can command them when they do.
How did you learn voodoo?
I have always been adept with the mystic arts. Just as you dream of treasure, Murphy, I dream of power. I came to Devil's Rock many years ago, drawn by its voodoo energy, and no sooner than I arrived, the spirit realm began to reveal itself to me, pleading for me to be its master.
Okay, ja, natürlich. Ich frage mich nur, das fängt jetzt schon creepy, was heißt creepy an? Ich meine, wozu braucht er mich? Warum lässt er mich die ganze Scheiße und hat das alles selber noch nicht gemacht? Wenn er doch schon so viele Jahre hier ist und sich mit Voodoo auskennt.
Why is this island such a focus of voodoo energy?
I suspect the answer to that question already lies in what you're seeking.
What's this riverboat we're aboard?
This is the Spirit Queen. It used to be a pleasure boat, plying the rivers around the island, a den of drinking and gambling. That's how I came to own the boat. A lucky game of chance. But between you and me, Murphy, it's a lot easier to win when you have spirits to control the roll of the dice.
It sounds like you cheated.
Fate was always gonna bring this boat to me. I just hurried it along.
Ausrede.
Do you keep an alligator as a pet?
That's right. My dear old Mephistopheles. Blind as a bat, but with the smell of a bloodhound. Good thing he's chained up safely in the boiler room.
No, he isn't.
Huh?
He was out on the jetty when I was trying to get aboard.
Where is he now?
Swimming in the bayou.
Oh dear, not again.
You what again?
I'm going to go and find the voodoo ingredients.
Hurry back.
Hey, und Prolog fertig. Part 1, The Summoning Spell. Also bisher gefällt es mir sehr gut. Ist geil gemacht, sehr polished, Quality of Life Shit, Story interesting. Gespannt, was wir noch alles, also wann die ersten richtigen Rätsel kommen. Bin gespannt. So, das heißt, wir haben jetzt den ganzen Shit und wir brauchen die Ingredients. Okay. Der hat noch diese Dinger hier oben, ne? Das muss man auch mal noch beachten.
I may have been new to the bayou, but even...
Okay. Also das ist jetzt einfach... das kriegen wir doch jetzt bestimmt auf.
With a bit of elbow grease, I levered up the window frame. Pressed against the inside wall was a dusty desk covered in spiderwebs, and to top it, one thing lay undisturbed, a small folded document which I picked up, along with an inadvertent 8-legged companion. Ugh. Ghost stories and haunted treasures I could handle, but spiders gave me the creeps.
Captain's License. License issue by the Department of Commerce and Labor. 1910, also 20 Jahre alt. Department of Commerce and Labor, United States. Captain's License. The undersigned inspector for the state of Louisiana certifies that Cornelius Knott, that having been by them this day duly examined, touching his qualifications as a captain of a steamboat, is a suitable and safe person to be entrusted with the power of duties of captaincy, and license him to act as such for 5 years from this date on all navigable waterways of the state of Louisiana. As such, the above named does solemnly swear that he will faithfully and honestly, according to his best skill and judgment, without concealment or reservation, perform all the duties required of him as a captain by the Act of Congress approved June 9, 1910, given under my hand this 3rd day of March 1923. Okay. B. Butterworth, Supervising Inspector, Serial Number, Seal. Das fehlt wohl. Okay, also Moment. Das heißt, das gilt für 5 Jahre und er hatte die Captain's License in Louisiana, Steamboats, für 5 Jahre. Also bis 28. Okay. Naja, wofür das auch immer gut sein wird.
I jiggled the...
Noch was sehen?
There was nothing else of interest in the ship.
Okay.
I considered climbing the water tower, and there was plenty of that.
Hier haben wir auch nichts, was wir damit machen können. Okay. Erstmal wieder. Nehmen wir erst die Plätze ab, bevor wir was anderes suchen. Oh, da liegt was. Haha. Eine Flasche.
As I picked up the bottle, I anticipated what could be inside. A brine-stained treasure map, perhaps, or a scribbled plea from a castaway desperately awaiting rescue. Looking inside, I found it was empty. The only writing on it was the embossed glass letters of the Orangello Soda Company.
Okay, wir haben eine Flasche. Nicht verkehrt in einem Adventure. Okay. Ah, okay, hier ist einiges passiert. Jetzt ist die Tür jetzt hier auf. Ja, gehen wir mal rein ins Jewelry.
Oh,
my second customer of the night. I don't know if I can handle such a rush. Welcome, young man, to Doubloon's Jewelry. Oh, the riches to fill your breeches. Jewels, silver, gold, the finest things for you to behold. Whom do I have the pleasure of meeting?
My name's Murphy McCallan.
Oh, a pleasure to meet you. My name's Jasper Crumb, owner and proprietor. Are you looking for something valuable while you're here on the island?
Funnily enough, I am.
Is there a special someone in your life? Looking for an apology gift, perhaps? I've sold more missed anniversary necklaces and drunken fumble earrings than I can count.
No, I don't need anything like that.
Then how about something for yourself? You look like a working man. Could I interest you in a pocket watch?
Actually, I had one up until about an hour ago. Traded it to a glowing green guy for a magic pouch. As the words left my lips, I realized I sounded like a character from Jack and the Beanstalk.
Pardon me?
I'm just here to browse.
Browse away, young man. I'll be here if you need me.
Okay. Das ist eine Menge. Okay. Warte mal.
The cabinet was filled with used jewelry. Rings, brooches, necklaces, and more. Even second-hand, I would have had to save for years to afford any of them. There was no way I could carry a fishbowl full of water and a live goldfish around with me.
Das ist doch safe eine Anspielung auf irgendein altes Point-and-Click, wo man sowas einfach mit sich getragen hat. Kann er was mit dem Fisch anfangen?
That didn't work.
Schade. Flasche den Fisch fangen?
The neck of the bottle was far too narrow for the pudgy little goldfish to swim through. I didn't need the poster. The poster read, "Free polishing on all purchases. Gemstones bought."
Okay.
A small glass fishbowl sat on top of a cabinet.
So
It
angucken,
was
ist
an
noch was
ornate
anderes.
display cabinet.
Ah, okay.
It was an ornate display. The cabinet was filled with precious jewels, geodes, and fossils next to a small sign that read, "Treasures of the Earth." The store's cash register sat on the counter. I wondered how long it had been since it was last used. It was a gold leaf-covered carving of what looked like a goose. I inspected the carving. Its woodworm-dotted surface and water-stained edges suggested it had once been much more.
Okay. Also kurze technische Schwierigkeiten. I'm sorry. Fixen mal eben das Mikrofon. So, gerade als ich das gelesen habe, ist einfach alles mal derbe abgeschmiert. Also stand einfach alles still. Das war tatsächlich nicht, wie vorhin gesagt, mein Internet. Das ist geblieben, aber mein PC ist einfach halb abgeschmiert. Ist wieder hochgefahren. Aber OBS hat sich mal so richtig weggehangen. Hat zum Glück direkt die Aufnahme gespeichert. Das hat es noch geschafft. Aber gut, machen wir weiter. Wir waren an dem Schild. Okay. Gucken wir uns nochmal an. Mal gucken, ob es wieder abstürzt.
I inspected the carving. Its woodworm-dotted surface and water-stained edges suggested it had once been much more than a decorative piece in a jewelry store.
Okay, jetzt geht's wieder. Ja, ich hoffe, es bleibt jetzt... Oh. Moment. Mal wieder vernünftig. So. Jetzt sieht man auch den Chat wieder. Ja, wie gesagt, mal gucken. Ich hoffe, es funktioniert. Aber Internet war es nicht. Also, mal sehen. So, aber das Ding hier scheint möglicherweise mal woanders gehangen zu haben. So habe ich das jetzt verstanden. So. Hier gucken.
The cabinet proudly displayed all manner of gold and silver creations, watches, necklaces, pendants, and more, all made in-house by the jeweler.
Und beim Absturz interessant, das Spiel ist die ganze Zeit weitergelaufen. Also ich habe das gerade neu gestartet, aber ich kurz einfach wieder starten. Okay, ein Polisher.
Even if I could reach it, it was probably better for the jeweler to operate equipment like that. There was no reason to use the microscope without something to magnify.
Keine Ahnung. Macht es Sinn, sich Münzen zu...
I didn't need to look at that more closely.
Okay, aber hier könnten wir was ranzoomen. Hm?
Robbing a jewelry store really wasn't my style.
Ja, klar.
Good evening, Mr. Crumb.
How can I help you?
How's business tonight?
You're not a millionaire with an enraged fiancé, are you?
I'm not, no.
I didn't think so. Then business tonight is about as lively as a snail drinking decaf. The only other customer I had in here tonight was more interested in the provenance of fossils than the shiny stuff. Booked a private viewing, and then didn't buy anything. Can you believe it? The first time in weeks the shop gets a private viewing, and all they're interested in is bones.
You sell fossils, too?
I sell all the treasures of the earth. If it's under the ground and I can sell it, I'm interested.
I hear Burke and Hare had the same philosophy.
Okay, wir brauchen ja auch, kann ich jetzt angucken? Nee. Wir brauchen ja auch Knochen, ne? Könnte hier der Schädel sein.
What are you selling?
We specialize in jewelry and precious stones. Rings, necklaces, earrings, and brooches in this cabinet to my left. Gems, geodes, and fossils in this cabinet to my right. You'd be surprised at how much of an impact some stones can make. My family can tell you that. We also offer a free polishing service on all purchases from the shop. Just bring it in and we'll shine it up for you. Our little thank you to our loyal customers.
How do you know what jewelry was purchased here?
I handcraft everything this shop sells. I have an encyclopedic knowledge of our wares, Mr. McAllen, going back decades.
Okay. So, er kann nur polishen, was hier verkauft
What's
wurde.
the most valuable thing in here?
I suppose that depends on how you value things, doesn't it?
In dollars and cents?
Yes, I used to value things that way. But a lack of business has a way of making you more philosophical about these things. Now I'd say the most valuable thing here is Granny.
Granny? Your grandmother is in here?
That's right. In the fishbowl. Granny is my goldfish.
You named your goldfish Granny?
Yes, it was the most wondrous thing. The same day my grandmother Bethesda died, I was out at the local fun fair, and I won this goldfish on the ring toss. When we got home, every time we mentioned Bethesda, that little fish jumped out of the water and back on in. We think Granny's passed on into that fish. What do you think?
I mean this with no disrespect, but I think that's the craziest thing I've come across tonight, and I had a ghost bride trying to kill me.
We all have our quirks.
But don't goldfish only live for a few years? If she was your grandmother, she must have died sometime around the middle of the last century.
Oh, yes, that's right. Each time the goldfish dies, Granny's spirit hops into a new fish. We must be on Granny number 44 by now.
Okay.
I'm looking for lost treasure.
I'd say you found it. Everything inside these four walls is a treasure, handmade to the finest quality.
I mean a specific treasure. The lost treasure of Belmore Manor.
Well, if you find it, bring it in here for an appraisal. I'll give you a good price for it. But that's a pretty big if, isn't it?
What do you know about Belmore Manor?
Oh, it's a tragedy what went on there. But I know what I think. Black magic.
Black magic?
That's right. While some of us make an honest living around these parts, there are others who are lured in by the darker depths of the sea.
Who do you think that was?
Well, it's simple, isn't it? Abigail used to stop by here all the time, taking a gander at the rings and the necklaces. She was a lovely young girl who always saw the best in people. And Mr. Rackham, he was a model for how to run a good business. Honest and decisive. Now, that only leaves one person, doesn't it?
The sailor?
Exactly. I'd heard rumors about black magic going on inside Belmore Manor. I think he was casting his spell on Abigail, making her fall in love with him. Why else would someone as rich as her want to marry someone like him? He certainly couldn't afford the rings and necklaces that caught her eye. I think, come the night of the wedding, she wised up. That's why she decided to marry Mr. Rackham after all. A much more responsible choice for the company.
Das wird's wohl nicht sein.
What's the carving on the front of your counter?
That is the genuine stern carving of the Golden Goose, the famous brigantine. I could trace my family's history on the island back hundreds of years, right back to the ship's owner, Captain Bartholomew Crumb. You've heard of him, I expect.
Captain Crumb, the vicious pirate? I read about him as a child.
One of the most successful in the Caribbean. That is, until, as the story goes, he got pursued by a ghost ship.
A ghost ship? Surely that can't be more than a legend.
Then how do you explain this? Without a single shot fired, every sailor aboard his ship fell down dead, victims of an evil pirate who wielded a black stone. Captain Crumb was the sole survivor. He escaped undetected in a rowboat, and after days at sea, made it to this very island. After that, he never went to sea again. Instead, he set up this shop with the one chest of jewels he'd managed to carry away. Some of the gems you see around here still date back to that final hoard.
A black stone killed the crew?
Well, so the story goes. I suppose it explains my family's obsession. Not just the gold and jewels that tempt us, but the wicked stones that threaten us.
Yeah.
Why did Captain Crumb come to Devil's Rock to set up his store?
This was his home port. Devil's Rock used to be quite the lawless island. Legend goes he used to hide his treasure along the southeastern coastline. The island is dotted with caves. Plenty of places to hide the loot.
Okay.
I think I'll just look around for now.
I'm here if you need me.
I had nothing else to ask him.
Interesting. In der südöstlichen Seite könnte sein Treasure sein.
What a nice young man. Isn't he, Granny? I couldn't have put it better myself.
Ich denke, dass seine Oma in dem Goldfisch ist. Schon klar. Okay, ist hier irgendwas Neues?
A paper sign hung on the front of the theater. One side displayed the flair and fanciness of a person skilled with a fountain pen. The other side revealed it had been written. The sign read, "The Fantastic Fantoccio Brothers will be performing."
So.
A paper sign hung on the front of the theater. One side displayed the flair and fanciness of a person skilled with a fountain pen. The other side revealed it had been written on the back of a cut-up cereal box. Set up on the seafront was an elaborate carved wood puppet theater with Pulcinella painted across the top. The puppet show had...
Okay,
The ladder was covered in rust from the salty sea air, barely hanging on to the crumbling masonry.
Also nicht verkehrt, da vielleicht sich die Sachen mal anzugucken. Oh, hier ist offen. Okay, da gehen wir gleich rein.
A faded poster had been pasted on the wall of the alcove. It had clearly been there for years.
Da oben ist jetzt auch out.
Shirts, socks, and oversized underwear had been left out to dry overnight. A
Interesting.
notice board stood outside the newspaper office, containing a mixture of advertisements and...
So, rechtzeitig rennen kann ich dann aber nicht.
A notice board stood outside the newspaper office, containing a mixture of advertisements. It was a billboard advertising Bloom's canned beef. Of all the ways to eat beef, the canned form was definitely at the bottom of my list of preferences. It was a telegraph mast, with cables radiating outwards to the buildings surrounding it. A fishing net had been stretched between two poles to dry, and then clearly forgotten about.
Interesting.
The tip of a wooden boat poked above the water, clearly the remains of a rather unfortunate expedition. The stories about Belmore Manor are true. I saw the ghost bride inside the house.
Blast it, Murphy. Don't say I didn't warn you. This island has had its fair share of the macabre. The best way to deal with it is to leave well enough alone. Why are you searching for that treasure anyway?
Well, it's my job. The state's claim on that money runs out at 8 a.m., and I'm supposed to find it.
You seem pretty passionate about something that's just for work. What are the odds you draw an assignment like that?
Well, I might have made my own luck there. They wouldn't normally authorize an investigation so close to the statute of limitations running out, especially on a 30-year-old cold case. But thrust a stack of forms in front of the boss 5 minutes before clocking off on a Friday afternoon, and he doesn't care what he's signing.
Let's just hope he wasn't signing your death warrant.
Most of my investigations don't amount to more than counting paper clips in a municipal building or going cross-eyed over receipt rolls in a courthouse. When I found that old case folder tucked behind the filing cabinet, its only lead, a water-stained magazine, talking about a real-life haunted house, how could I pass it up? I spoke with Dr. Moray. He thinks we can make contact with the ghosts.
Moray is a charlatan and a fool. Only got into hoodoo and voodoo a few years ago. Before that, he was an actor over at the Calliope Theater, and not a very good one. He's the only person I know who directed and starred in a one-person production of The Pirates of Penzance. And that's because all the rest of the cast dropped out rather than work with him. He's always been searching for respect and recognition. Who would have known he found it by living in the swamp and reeking of incense?
Don't you believe in voodoo?
I certainly do. I just don't think Moray's got any more control of it than the rooster has control of the sunrise. His understanding of voodoo amounts to whatever he's gleaned from one of those horror pictures Ventura Studios puts out at the movie palace. My mama used to know all about it. God rest her soul. Voodoo isn't some made-up Hollywood magic, Mac. Voodoo's a real religion. It's about community, about belonging, and about searching for something more than flesh and blood. It's not the snake oil he peddles.
Okay.
What do you think happened at Belmore Manor?
Now there's a tale I don't like to tell.
Can I persuade you to tell it anyway?
I have a feeling I ain't gonna get any rest until I do. You know about Miss Belmore, the bride, engaged to the sailor? Nah, the way I hear it, Mr. Rackham was over the moon with her. Such an upstanding fellow. I won't have a bad word said against him. Now he realized that the sailor was going through terrible lengths to ensnare his bride, and Mr. Rackham tried to save her. I heard that the sailor cottoned on to this and tricked Rackham into giving the lady a gift. That's what made everything go topsy-turvy.
What was the gift?
There are places in the Caribbean that trade things more elusive than gold. Ungodly things.
Do you think the disappearance was caused by voodoo?
And that's what my mama used to say. If you're not careful, that stuff can go to your head.
Okay.
No luck fishing?
Not a bite, Mac. The Pencosa fish just ain't snapping for me today. Shame, too, because I'm planning on firing up my grill later. And the tastiest catch in these waters.
How do you catch a Pencosa fish?
With hours of patience and decades of practice. You ever wrestled a rod before?
Just the once. I went fishing on Lake Erie, but the only thing I caught was a cold. What do you do with the fish you catch?
A couple I save for myself, and the rest I sell to the Captain's Club. They fancy them up with lemon lobsters, slawfish, something or other. But everyone knows the best way to cook them is to grill them.
Why won't you hear a word against Mr. Rackham?
He gave me my first work on this island, right here on these docks. And I'm still here to this day. He may have worn a scowl, but he don't judge a banana by its peel with people like him, Mac. When I looked into his eyes, all I saw was ambition.
What work did you do?
Loading and unloading the ships that came in. Of course, they just don't do that anymore. Dead Nettle's a forgotten town. Maybe that's for the best.
Catch you later, Ned.
See you around, Mac.
Sagen, was hat er da jetzt ein Knife?
Hey, Ned, do you mind if I borrow your knife?
If you need it, Mac, just bring it back to me later tonight, would you? If I'm lucky with my catch, I'll be firing up the grill. You're invited to join me, of course.
Okay. Nun haben wir ein Messer.
I had more important things to do than fish.
Okay. Das Messer irgendwas? Soll ein Messer
It
sein?
was a small but sharp fishing knife.
Verstanden. Ja, gehen wir erst zur Reporterin. Ja.
Murphy McCallan, so you're still here. What have you been up to? Anything newsworthy?
That's none of your business. Don't think I've forgotten your trick with the telegram.
Hey, it's nothing personal. Your business is my business, and my business is news. I'm Evelyn Stoker, editor of the Juniper Parish Gazette. No misdeed left unshared, no drama left unmonetized. Come on, work with me here, McCallan. I need something juicy. Committed any crimes? Uncovered any affairs? Any deep, personal secrets to reveal?
The honest-to-God truth? No.
I need a good story. I can't let something minor like the truth stand in the way of that.
Oh, okay. Also jetzt nicht so mit der Wahrheit. Aha. Cheer.
I picked up the scissors. With her stunt at the bayou, I figured she owed me one. I picked up the twine. Maybe she owed me two. It was a ball of rough twine. It was a pair of scissors from the newspaper.
Ship sinks on Gulf. Lost dog. Empty grave body missing. Was können wir da angucken? Printing press.
Don't even think about it. The spring on that printing press looks like it's going to blow at any moment.
See?
I didn't want to get ink all over me trying to carry the canister around. There was no way I was going to get past the newspaper editor to get it. Besides, I didn't know how to operate it. Hanging on a peg at the far side of the room was a battered flashbulb camera. It was a big, fancy printing press, which must have cost a fortune decades ago, but was now very much out of date. On the floor was a large canister filled with dark black printer's ink. Around it, the floor was stained with ink splatters. The back wall of the newspaper office was filled with filing cabinets. From the labels on the front, they looked to be archived issues of the Juniper Parish Gazette.
Okay, also hier könnten alle möglichen Zeitungen lesen.
Hey, you can't come back here.
Sorry.
Wenn sie den Bock hätten.
The editor was busy at work with spectacles perched on her nose, and it looked so stern I wondered if the glasses were solely for the purpose of glaring over disapprovingly.
Yes?
Hi.
Hi!
What are you working on?
One of the most romantic articles this newspaper's ever seen. Francois Fogg, Dead Nettle's local pharmacist, is reuniting with his long-lost love after 14 years apart, thanks to this newspaper's personal ads column.
What a lovely story.
That's right. She mailed in a letter she wanted printed. Her former sweetheart saw it, and now they're on track to see each other again. Eventually.
Eventually?
Well, that's a bit of an administrative issue. In the letter we received, she told him to meet her in her Texas hometown of Magnolia. Due to a tiny typesetting error, he's now on a 6-week voyage to Mongolia. But doesn't it warm your heart how far people will go for love?
Don't you have more interesting stories to write about?
The crackpots this island calls a population wouldn't know something interesting if they paid for it. Which they hardly do. Believe me, I've tried to get juicier stories. Scouring the island, doorstop interviews, hiding under windows.
You eavesdrop on people through their windows?
It's called investigative reporting.
I'm doing some research on the treasure of Belmore Manor.
Have you found it?
Well, no, not yet. I've just started looking.
Then don't waste my time. Come back when you've got the goods.
Okay. Echt, soll ich dir das sagen?
You might not believe this, but I saw a ghost inside Belmore Manor.
You know what? You're right, McCallan. I don't believe it. Really? You've been on this island how long? And you're already starting to sound as loopy as a local.
Have you ever written an article on the disappearance at Belmore Manor?
What a waste of column inches. Leave it. That's my advice. There's no story in it.
No story?
Not one that anyone would believe. And I've got advertisers breathing down my neck.
What do you think went on?
Practically everyone on this island thinks there was some kind of sorcery involved. No one is looking at the reality. If I write up my research, no one on the island will believe me. If I write their wackadoodle theories, I'll be laughed out of the industry.
Okay, also sie glaubt nicht an Magie und Geister.
You can tell me what you've uncovered about Belmore Manor. Trust me, at this point, few things would surprise me.
I heard the Belmore Trading Company was losing revenue. Its profits eaten up by who knows what ventures those brothers had going on. I've seen the records. The company was privately owned, sure, but when you've got pressure building and the sharks are circling, you've got to shore up your defenses. I think that's why the Belmores persuaded Abigail to marry John Rackham.
Marry someone she didn't love?
But he didn't love her either. He was just after the company, so he hires the sailor to seduce her, convince her there's more to life than Devil's Rock. And as soon as she marries Rackham, they split, never to see each other again. He inherits the lot, and she disappears with her lover boy sailor to who knows where.
But why do you think all the guests disappeared?
They bumped them off to cover their tracks. Either one of them could have been sunning it up in Sarasota ever since. But imagine me writing that into a piece of serious journalism.
It's true.
Would you take my photograph?
Do you know how much the chemicals cost to develop those photographs? I'm on a limited budget here, McCallan. Unless you've done something notable, you're not getting into print.
Did you know Comptroller Grimes?
How could I forget him? The guy was a walking, talking migraine generator.
Surely you shouldn't speak of the dead like that.
Why not? I spoke plenty worse about him when he was alive. Anyway, I'm sure everything happens for a reason. And hopefully that reason is to increase my circulation numbers. Everything's connected, you know. Have you ever heard of the butterfly effect? I suspect it works for moths, too, because I can never get the damn things out of here. Some people say that if a man breaks wind in Alabama, it can cause a hurricane in Fiji.
I think I shared a train car with that guy on my way here. What's in those filing cabinets?
Past issues of the paper, going all the way back to 1858. Of course, things were a lot more interesting when Dead Nettle was thriving. People, ships, and cargo coming and going. Lots to report on back then. More than the dregs I have to dress up now.
Why did the ship stop coming to Dead Nettle?
The Belmore Trading Company was the heartbeat of this island. After the disappearance, there was no one left to run the company, and it all got sold off. When that folded, so did pretty much everything else.
Do you have any back issues featuring the Belmore Manor wedding?
We don't, I'm afraid. Most of the paper's directors were at the wedding, and disappeared along with everyone else. The newspaper had to close up shop for months while it was restaffed. This was back when the Gazette wasn't run by just one person.
Okay.
I think I better be going.
Keep your eyes peeled for a story, McAllen. There are secrets on the island, and it's my job to run advertisements next to them.
Okay, also die Motten weg fände ich irgendwie geil. Ah, hier wird man wohl einiges machen können. Wahrscheinlich brauche ich ein Photograph von
The
mir.
fisherman sat on the edge of the dock looking as content as a cat with a can of tuna.
Ja, gehen wir doch mal hier rein. Okay, ja. Doorway. Metredit. Podium.
The courtyard echoed with the trickling noise of a small fountain. There was nothing in the fountain except a rim of moss and dirt that made it look like a stained toilet.
Okay. Erste Idee. Oh!
I filled the bottle with water from the fountain.
Okay, wir haben Fountain Water.
It was a soda bottle I'd filled up with water.
Okay.
The maitre d' stood behind a tall podium, peering down at a ledger in front of him. I glanced at the ledger on the podium. It was mostly empty. The words I could see were written in such an unreadable scrawl that looked like a centipede had dipped its legs in ink and skittered across the page. The maitre d' stood behind the podium with his nose so far up in the air he could use it as a periscope. Had more grease in his hair than deep-fried calamari. He seemed to be doing everything he could to pretend I wasn't there. Good evening. He looked past me like I was invisible, as though if he ignored me hard enough, there was a chance I'd disappear. I said good evening?
I'm sorry. I didn't realize you were talking to me.
There's no one else here.
Wishful thinking on my part. Have you taken a wrong turn, sir?
I'm just having a look around.
Well, make it a quick one, and I shall need to know your name.
Murphy McAllen, and who do I have the pleasure of speaking to?
My name is Felix Greer, maitre d', bartender, and acting manager of the Captain's Club. When Mr. Perkins has the night off.
Mr. Perkins. Okay.
What is this place?
This, sir, is the Captain's Club, a private members club for current and retired sea and riverboat captains. We are highly exclusive. Are you a captain?
He asked with a smugness that told me he already knew the answer.
I thought not. Then may I recommend a swift exit? You'll find a convenient egress to your starboard side. If you like, I can give you a good swift kick in the right direction, sir. And don't feel the need to stop walking until your ankles get soggy.
Der für den Arsch. Aber wir haben Captain's License, also wir könnten hier reinkommen.
I'm looking for the lost treasure of Belmore Manor.
Oh, goody! Another young adventurer seeking fame, fortune, or some combination of the two. Just the local color Dead Nettle has been lacking.
What do you know about the lost treasure?
Do you think you're living in a storybook? Weathered maps, talking parrots, X marks the spot? Grow up, you silly boy. Captaincy is a noble skill that doesn't need to be trivialized with childish tales of lost treasure.
You must have some thoughts on the disappearance.
On moonlit nights, when the waves crash against the rocks, the captains of this club trade yarns about this very mystery. Did you know Abigail Belmore's fiancé was a sailor who worked on the ships? Some of the old boys here even worked with him. They say he loved her, as true as a captain loves the sea. But she was a temptress, a siren. She scuttled that sailor's heart, consumed by a voodoo premonition that she had to fulfill. More beautiful than a mermaid, and twice as fishy.
What did she do?
After months of engagement, she broke it off and chose to marry an officer of the company instead, on their very wedding day.
Why did she do that?
The rumors I've heard are that they discovered something in the Caribbean, something wicked, something that consumed them and drove them to heinous acts. The Belmore brothers swore their crew to secrecy, and the men were loyal to their word. But the rot in the rope was that sister, Abigail. People say that whatever they discovered took hold of her. With the sailor's broken heart and the officer's resources, she was about to unleash something terrible. Until the disappearance halted her evil plans.
Do you think that's true?
Of course not. It's all nonsense. But the captains do love to outperform each other with such tales on a dull evening.
Okay.
What makes you think I'm not a captain?
For one thing, you lack the grizzle, the crustiness, the essential R of a captain.
How do I get those?
Years of exposure to saltwater and a sullen, uncooperative crew, I should think. Do you even have a boat?
Actually, I did have one earlier this evening, but an alligator fell on it. Admittedly, it was only 3 inches long.
It isn't the size that matters, sir. It's the motion of the ocean. Tell me, have you ever captained a three-rigger through a tropical typhoon? Have you ever run the rapids of the Mississippi without hitting a single reef? Wind in your sails? Fire in your furnace? Waves beneath your keel?
Have you?
Well, it's a little complicated.
In what way?
I get seasick.
Is there any way to prove I'm a
Is there any
captain?
way to
Ja.
prove I'm a captain?
Könnten wir.
You might show me your captain's license. As I'm sure you know, the state of Louisiana requires all captains of both river and sea to carry one. But don't try to foist off a fake on me. Last week, we had someone present a license with a photograph distinctly unlike their contemporary appearance. The photograph was clearly of someone a good deal older than them, with more facial hair, and most importantly, one less eye.
Okay, also brauchen wir noch das, weil unsere Captain's License hat kein Foto, deswegen brauchen wir ein Foto von der Fotokarte. Okay. Dafür müssen wir aber irgendwas machen, irgendwas Krasses erreichen, dass sie denkt, es ist worth, dass wir in die Zeitung kommen. Okay.
You know, I quite like being out at sea.
Oh, really, sir?
Bobbing along the ocean waves, up and down, like one of those roller coasters at Lunaland. Up and down and up and down.
If sir would please be quiet. Else I expect there'll be a few waves of something coming out of my mouth any moment.
Okay.
Ned told me he sells fish to you. What do you serve here?
Captains.
Right, yes, I mean by way of food.
The Captain's Club serves a dazzling array of sea-sourced dishes, from our house special jambalaya to my personal favorite, Devil's Rock Pencosa, pan-seared with lobster slaw and citrus crawfish beer blanc. In all honesty, it's not very popular. Most of the clientele are absolutely sick of seafood by the time they get ashore. Just the sight of it makes them queasy.
What about drinks?
Listen, if you're from the Prohibition Bureau, we've cleared all of that up with Officer Moe. Fines were paid, items changed hands, and now we're clear.
I'm not from any Prohibition Bureau.
Then forget I said anything. The Captain's Club is strictly teetotal, in line with federal law. Now, if certain members wish to bring in their own medicinals, then we're happy to provide the accompanying aids. Ice, tonic, mixers, and the like. But we serve no alcohol on the premises.
Wir sind noch mitten in der Prohibition. Kein Alkohol. Irgendwo.
Is the club busy tonight?
Well, we haven't opened yet, but if it's like last week, it'll be quite the lively soiree. I could barely keep up.
The members here like to have a good time?
That's right, sir. Both of them. This town sure isn't what it used to be.
What's happened to Dead Nettle?
Do you think you've wandered into the Tourist Information Center? I can assure you, you'll never meet a tourism official who dresses with this much panache. Stuart LePew, head of the Devil's Rock Historical Society, looks like a thrift store had a crisis of conscience and threw up on him.
I was just hoping to talk to someone so obviously knowledgeable about the area.
Well, yes, that is true. I am plagued with an encyclopedic knowledge of the locality. My concierge duties require it. I have a spiel.
Felix pushed out his chest like this was his moment in the limelight, his eyelids half closing as he performed before imagined crowds.
Welcome, hardy traveler, to our quaint port town of Dead Nettle. Once this town you see around you was a hub of commerce, a beacon for ships bravely navigating between America, Europe, and the Caribbean. With the unfortunate dissolution of the Belmore Trading Company, our town has settled into a quieter life, perfect for the sailor ready to hang up their cap. We hope that you enjoy your time in our cozy town and perhaps explore some of the local sites here in Dead Nettle. Well,
Excuse me?
I was expecting applause.
I best be casting off.
Don't feel the need to rush back, sir.
Das wird wohl nicht klappen.
You can't go up there. It's for members only.
It was a fancy elevator with a curious layer of dust.
Members only.
Ja. Chill, Bro. Ja, wir könnten quasi hier reingehen, ne? Wir machen's mal.
Without a photograph of me, there was no
Ja,
way
nee.
he was going to accept it as proof of my being a captain.
Vorhin selber noch gesagt. Wird müde. Okay, also hier gibt's nichts weiter. Verstanden. Das heißt, das haben wir uns angeguckt. Gehen wir doch mal wieder auf Island. Da waren wir ja quasi. Da haben wir was. Wir haben ein paar neue Sachen. Gehen wir mal Causeway Beach. Mal uns noch
The
das an.
beach was dotted by tide pools, partly filled with seawater. With the high tide, the entirety of the causeway, only the guideposts peeking above the waves gave any hint of the road.
Also wir könnten quasi auch so machen, ne?
I didn't need to pour water on that.
Okay. Können wir das hier sauber machen?
Roach needed more than just water to clean it. It needed polishing.
Oh, good hint. Dann gehen wir nochmal in die Stadt.
That didn't. I needed.
Okay, also solche Sachen ins Wasser packen bringt jetzt nichts. Ah, interesting. Ja, aber gute Idee von mir und dann vom Game. Gucken, gehört die Brosche ihm hier?
Welcome back.
Ja, Herr Löhle.
Excuse me, would you be able to polish a brooch for me?
Let me take a look. Oh, well, 18-karat yellow gold, filigree wirework in a handcrafted floral motif, and round, brilliant cut ruby, if I'm not mistaken, made to fit a music box?
That's right. How did you know that?
I know my own handiwork anywhere. Now, how did you get a hold of it?
Oh, just a gift.
What a generous gift indeed. Well, we do offer free polishings on all items purchased here, so I'd be very happy to shine her up for you. Please, bear with me for a moment.
Okay.
Robbing a jewelry store. There was no way I could carry a fishbowl full of water. The neck of the bottle was far.
There we go, shining like a firefly's rear end. I'm afraid the clasp on the back has broken off. You weren't planning on wearing it soon, were you?
I wasn't planning on wearing it at all.
There's no shame in indulging yourself every once in a while. Lord knows I can appreciate the comfort and empowerment a pair of hosiery can bring. Anyway, we don't have any replacement clasps in stock, but I can put it in order. In the meantime, here's a button magnet that should hold it in place, as long as you're not too vigorous with it.
Thank you.
Also das ist ein Magnet.
It was the ornate brooch I'd had cleaned at the jeweler's, now glimmering in the light. It was the small round magnet I'd been given by the jeweler, meant to attach a brooch without piercing clothing. Nope. I couldn't do that. I needed to think of... I didn't need to wear the brooch, and obviously it's red stone.
Okay, wir haben jetzt einen kleinen Magnet. Kann man das nochmal machen?
Could you polish my brooch again?
Hand her over.
Okay, also das geht. Das heißt, man könnte hier irgendwie was mitnehmen.
Robbing a jewelry...
Zum Beispiel den Fisch. Wenn wir irgendwas für den Fisch haben, würde das gehen. Okay, genau.
Here you...
Thank you.
Okay, genau. Irgendwie werden wir doch bestimmt den Fisch benötigen für irgendwas. Causeway Beach war ich jetzt nochmal. Spirit Green. Irgendwas Neues. Hier ist nichts mehr drin, hat er gesagt.
It was an aging water tower. I considered climbing the water, and there was plenty. It was an aging water tower used to replenish the steam engine aboard the riverboat.
Okay, da werden wir wohl nichts machen können. Haben wir ja quasi benutzt. Können wir hier noch mal hin? Muss wir wissen, ist es hier jetzt over oder geht hier noch was?
It was the frame where I'd found. The plaque read, "My beloved Bernie, heartfelt wishes, now you sleep with the fishes."
Oh, wir können noch mal rein.
You've returned. Have you found all the ingredients and placed them in the green?
Not yet, but I'm working on it. I'm going to go and find the voodoo.
Okay, kann man nichts mehr machen. Okay, alles klar. Run, 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 run. So. Ich würde tatsächlich nochmal hier hin, bevor ich hier mir den anderen Scheiß angucke. Tatsächlich nochmal gucken, was hier los
A
ist.
large pond lay in front of the house.
Da jetzt irgendwas lösen können. Ich meine, wir haben hier... Ist hier was neu? Nee. Not really. Immer hinter das Haus wieder. Oh! Ah, nee. Ich dachte gerade, das wäre anders als vorher. Nee, ist genau gleich. Aber jetzt könnten wir hier natürlich was machen, ne? Könnten mit dem Messer das Seil durchschneiden. In die Scheune.
I wasn't going to touch the molasses with my bare hands. With the items I was borrowing across the island, some may have said I had sticky fingers, but this would have made it a little bit too literal.
Okay, ich wüsste jetzt nicht, womit wir das benutzen. Wir machen jetzt hier auch kein Trial and Error. Mal in die Tür. Ah, wir sind dann direkt.
I reached up to the cow skull and dislocated its grisly jaw. A cow skull was mounted on the frame. Two large doors marked the entrance to the building.
Okay.
It was a jawbone from the cow.
Brauchten wir... Bone Fragment? Also... Ah, das können wir uns auch angucken.
It was a fragment of bone. It was a bottle filled with rum. It was a single coin made of silver. It was a small mound of gunpowder. It was a pair of feathers, both black. It was a crumbling piece of chalk. It was a handful of nails, once used to seal up a coffin. It was a manuscript that looked...
Das hatten wir schon. Okay, haben wir ein bisschen was geschafft. Mal weiter. Kommen wir den Tree nicht hoch.
The stark trunk of the tree didn't... A dying tree stood next to the balcony, its branches devoid of leaves, its bark flaking away. A skeleton, clothed in wedding attire, hung by the neck from a branch of the tree. Glinting in the moonlight was a wedding ring it still held clasped in its bony fingers.
Das ist keine Münze, das ist ein Ring. Okay. Irgendwas mal?
That wasn't going to work.
Schade. Ja, wir kommen ja so auch. Ist nicht offensichtlich rein. Okay, wir nochmal rein, mal gucken, was passiert. Der Geist uns einfach wieder aus dem Fenster schmeißt.
I went to open the door into Belmore Manor, but the key was gone. I was sure I'd left it in the lock. I couldn't do that.
Okay, das ist aber, ich kann nicht mehr rein, oder ist er mit mir hier rausgeflogen?
I considered wading into the... Then I realized... I couldn't.
Hier verbinden kann man das auch nicht?
Nope.
Okay.
That wasn't going to...
Na gut, okay. Dann kann man hier nichts machen. Schade.
The balcony was broken where I'd been thrown out of Abigail's bedroom. From the ground, I didn't have a clear view through the balcony doors. But that didn't stop me from knowing the dark magic that went on beyond that broken glass.
Okay. Das hier ist not twine, ne? Das ist jetzt kein... Das ist kein Seil. Okay, also hier kann ich scheinbar gerade sonst nichts machen. Dann fangen wir doch einfach mal hier an. Die Mühle.
It was a ramshackle chicken coop with infrequent clucks emanating from within.
Mir fällt auch gerade ein, wir speichern vielleicht mal selber nochmal. Nicht, dass das später doch abschmiert. Ah, überschreiben geht gar nicht. Autosave. Ah, okay, also es macht eh Autosaves. Gut.
Cluck, cluck, buck, 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 cluck. I tried to persuade the chicken to come outside, but clearly I was out of cluck. that wasn't going to work.
Schade.
A pile of rotting wood lay at the side of the path. The wood was old and rotting. It wasn't going to be of any use. And who knew what critters might have made their homes inside the pile? The mill incorporated a wooden water wheel that turned in the current of the water channel, presumably driving some kind of gear inside. Despite its obvious age, the water wheel was still turning. I couldn't get near it, and that was probably a good thing if I didn't want to get dragged under by the current. The inside of the lumber mill smelled like sawdust and grease. Judging from the overgrown weeds, it clearly hadn't been used in a long time, and yet the lights remained on.
Okay. Ich auch gerade. Hier geht eine Menge. Mal erstmal hier noch weiterlaufen. Nein. Aber da oben ist eine Tür. Okay. Oh, hier wollen wir an. Was ist denn ein Auge? Hammer?
I picked up the auger from the tool shelf.
Ach so.
It was a small metal tool used for drilling holes by hand.
Okay. Und können wir Löcher bohren.
A large round beam rotated slowly in the center of the room. The beam looked to be driven by the water wheel outside. From the multitude of wires fanning out from the top, it was presumably hooked up to a generator. A large round beam rotated slowly in the... Lubricating the beam so it rotated smoothly was a thick glob of grease. If I touched the grease with my bare hands, I'd be spending hours trying to wash it off. That didn't work. Nope.
Hätte sein können. Okay, also hier könnte man Grease kriegen.
A series of hatches ran along the back wall. The hatches were locked. From their shape, I deduced they were for storing lumber, and I wasn't in need of any 2x4s. On the wall hung old saw blades, undisturbed since the mill was last in operation. The saw blades were rusted, dull, and would surely have precipitated the need for a tetanus shot. Despite the age of the mill, the buzzsaw still looked sharp and scary. In the middle of the room was a large sawmill. The conveyor belt would have carried logs up to the blade, cutting them in two. I didn't want to touch it. I hadn't seen something with that many scary-looking teeth since Old Lady Malloy's German Shepherd got loose on my 10th birthday. I looked over the machine, but I couldn't find a way to turn it on, if it even still worked. Each of the electric cables in the room emanated from a metal panel by the upstairs door. The electrical safety of the panel looked questionable. I wasn't going to touch it. I couldn't do that.
Hätte sein können.
I tried the door, but it was locked.
Natürlich. Okay. Hier haben wir jetzt nur was zum mein Loch zu bohren gefunden. Ist hier jetzt die Kirche? Ja. Eine Kirche. Eine Kirche. The cemetery. Ah, cemetery fort.
In the distance, I could see the island fort. The lighthouse light was off.
Okay.
The window looked into the church. If you could see through the decades of dust and grime.
Ja, geh mal dran.
The inside of the church was silent and still. The church door was solid and understated, like much of the rest of the church. The church door was locked.
War ja zu erwarten. Okay, geh mal auf den Friedhof. Also das ist ein anderer Eingang.
Hurry up with the barrels, Morris. We gotta get these unloaded before anyone sees us.
Are you sure this is a good idea, Musket? I don't think we should be using a church as our hiding place.
You're not being paid to think, Morris. You carry those barrels in here and let me worry about the theological implications. This place has been abandoned for decades. There's nobody around.
Nobody living, maybe. What if there's ghosts, boss?
Darn it, Morris. If brains was dynamite, you wouldn't have enough to blow your nose. Now get unloading. And keep an eye out for anyone snooping around.
What if someone catches us?
If anyone asks, we're the new clergy. We tell them these barrels are full of communion wine.
I thought we was rum runners.
Ah.
Not wine runners, boss.
Na rum.
Communion rum, then.
Ah, gotcha.
Remember, St. Juniper's Church is a place to get closer to God. And if anyone questions our alibi, we make sure that happens.
The pair of rum runners looked like the human personifications of the dish and the spoon from Hey Diddle Diddle. The gangly spoon bossing around the rotund dish as it carried barrels effortlessly from the jalopy and into the church. As it turned out, nursery rhyme characters become a lot more intimidating once they have revolvers.
Okay, jetzt sind die da drin.
The window looked into the I could see the shadows of the rum runners moving around inside the church, but I didn't want. Wandering happily into the hideout of a pair of mobsters wasn't going to be a smart move.
Ja, ist ja richtig. Ui. Ein Dude. Ah, aber da könnte man ja Nägel finden. Ändert sich hier was? Nicht wirklich. Aber wir können.
A pile of barrels rested precariously in the jalopy. It didn't take a detective to realize that these contained illicit alcohol that would have been jumped on by the Prohibition Bureau, or a frat house. An old jalopy was parked up outside the church, its flatbed filled with barrels. The car's horn was attached to the side of the jalopy. The barrels were far too heavy for me to lift, though that gorilla of a rum runner had been picking them up like they were cotton balls. The jalopy door was locked. How ironic that the rum runners would take care not to be the target of criminality.
Schon einfach das Horn. Bleibt doch mal stehen.
The window looked into the... I could see the shadow...
Okay, es interessiert ihn nicht. Interesting. Ja gut, gehen wir mal von hier.
Embedded into the stony hillside was a large, intricately carved crypt, with a decorative geometric pattern on its stone doors. I couldn't see any way to open the crypt door. Not a doorknob, not a keyhole. Whoever sealed this up intended to seal it up for good.
Das wird auch bestimmt so eine Höhle. Was von Höhle gesagt?
I scanned the headstones for anything of note, but didn't know what I was searching for. The graveyard was dotted with headstones, some old, some young, some legible, some not. The graveyard was... I scanned the head... The graveyard was...
Okay, die sagen alle das Gleiche.
I scanned the head... The graveyard...
Werden wir es wohl mal benutzen?
I scanned the graveyard... I scanned...
Ja, okay, das ist immer das Gleiche. Und dann gibt es ja nur ihn hier.
The graveyard... I scanned the headstones for...
Okay. Hier Schönes.
An antique stove burned quietly in the corner of the tumble-down shack.
Aber auch einfach
It was a pair of handheld bellows used for stoking a fire. I didn't need to warm my hands on the stove. It was already a humid night, and the fire was more useful at keeping bugs away from the shack than keeping anyone toasty. A rusty tin can sat on the ground. Its label read, Bloom's Canned Beef, family-sized. Appetizing. The tin was full of nothing but holes.
Hier ist nichts drin. Screwjack. Ah, dann fällt doch der Tisch runter, oder? Ah, ich dachte, das wäre eins der Beine. Okay.
It was a screwjack, the type I'd normally see being used to hold up a motor car when changing its tire.
Okay, damit könnte man was hochstellen.
A shabby-looking coffin lay unceremoniously on the rickety table. A coffin sat upon a rickety-looking table with one leg shorter than the others.
Ja, stimmt. Ach, dafür war der. Okay, das ist kürzer.
The coffin lid had been nailed down securely. I wasn't going to be able to open it. The coffin lid had been nailed down securely. With the jack removed, the table rocked freely.
Yeah.
A scruffy-looking man was working away within the remnants of a shack. He looked like the kind of guy who would pass for a scarecrow if he stood still long enough.
That's mean.
Hello?
Yeah! God darn it! Don't sneak up on people like that! You frighten the dying daylights out of me.
He looked at me like he'd seen a ghost. Sorry, you seem a little jumpy.
I thought you were that pesky little girl again.
A little girl? That doesn't seem like a reason to be scared.
She's a terror! One of these days she's gonna give me a heart attack. Last week, she showed up with a doctor's note she'd forged, saying a man I'd buried that day was just a very deep sleeper. 7 hours I was out here digging him back up, at my age.
And was he sleeping?
Dead as a dodo. Just like that little girl will be if I get my hands on her. Who are you, anyway?
My name's Murphy McCallan. I've just arrived on the island.
Well, welcome, Mr. Murphy. I'm Edgar Kettle. Gravedigger, undertaker, coffin maker, and anything else that needs doing to keep this cemetery running.
Okay.
I'm looking for the treasure of Belmore Manor.
Oh, a treasure hunter. Well, let me tell you something, young man. Don't even think about digging up my graveyard. There's no treasure buried here, and I'm already busy enough filling in the holes that are supposed to be here.
Do you know anything about the disappearance at Belmore Manor?
I think it's important to let the dead rest in peace.
But what if they're not in peace?
Well, you got me there. Listen, I think there's more to that story than meets the eye. You know the 3 brothers went missing, right? Well, if you ask me, I think Abigail Belmore was behind it. She was engaged to a sailor, but nobody like her would go for a commoner.
She might have loved him.
She could have loved somebody with a big bank account, too. I think she must have been using him, pretending to love him so he'd do her dirty work for her, bumping off her brothers. Then afterwards, she drops him and goes to marry the officer of the company. Fiendish.
Do you have any proof?
Yeah, just a feeling, that's all. But when you work with cadavers, you kinda get a sixth sense about things.
What do you think was behind the disappearance?
Well, the sailor must have found out he was being manipulated, right? Done something to get his revenge.
What do you think he did?
Nobody knows. He could have been working his way through those bodies like a madman. All we know is that everyone in that house disappeared. To tell you the truth, I'm quite relieved they did.
Why's that?
Because if they hadn't disappeared, it would have been this old fool who had to bury him. Saved me a lot of work.
Okay.
Did you make this coffin?
I sure did. But this is no more than a pauper's coffin by anyone's standards. The finest the parish pension can buy. Lock them in lumber, leave them to slumber, that's what I say. This'll end up 5 feet under by the end of the night.
I thought it was supposed to be 6 feet.
You're not the one doing the digging. 5 feet means I get a tea break.
Have you got any spare coffin nails?
No, I don't have any to spare. I've got a backlog of bodies begging for burial. But does the parish increase my funding? Nope. The roof's leaking, my table's broken. I've used floorboards to build some of the coffins. Take my advice. Don't go into this line of work. Undertaking is a dying business.
Do you think I could fit inside the coffin?
Probably not. The gentleman inside might make it a bit of a squeeze.
You mean there's a dead guy inside there?
There better be. I can't afford to be burying empty coffins.
Was the little girl named Mallory Wisp by any chance?
That's her. The peril in a pinafore. She got the whole town thinking I was burying people prematurely. I walked past the school the other day, and they'd made up a jump rope chant about me.
What was the chant the school children made up about you?
Edgar, crazy feller. Just be careful he don't get you. How many bodies did he strive to bury while they're still alive?
1, 2, 3, 4.
I wasn't looking for audience participation.
Sorry, I got carried away. Just like you with the burying. Have you ever accidentally buried someone who was still alive?
Has someone been making accusations again?
No, just making conversation.
Well, not that I know of. When you think about it, how would I know?
Shouts for help, desperate shaking of the coffin.
Look, I haven't sealed anyone up who was chatting with me, let's put it that way. I usually check for signs of life, but everyone takes shortcuts sometimes, don't they? I deserve some rest in peace, too.
Oh nein.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Hopefully not the guy in the coffin.
Not funny.
Do you know there were a couple of gentlemen up by the church?
Rum runners, they are. And dealing with them is not in my job description. As long as they don't mix up the stiffs I'm burying with the stiff drinks they're smuggling, I'm keeping my nose out. Curiosity killed the cat, you know. And I really miss Mittens.
Oh.
I best be running along.
Don't drop dead. I don't want anything else on my to-do list.
Okay. Idee. Also entweder kann ich die hier packen, dann komme ich in die Zeitung. Oder ich kann der Zeitungslady zumindest sagen, hey, Obacht, da sind Rum Runners.
Anything to report?
I'm keeping my eyes open.
Yes?
Hi.
I've got a story for you. Hey!
I've got a story for you. A big one. There are rum runners at the old church.
Keep your voice down, Motormouth. Do you want us to end up in the obituaries?
I thought you wanted a real scoop for the Gazette.
I do, just not one that gets me on the wrong side of the mob in the process. Pigeon elected mayor, cow does the high jump. Those are the types of stories that get eyes on the front pages.
But I thought journalists had a duty towards truth, justice, and society.
Where'd you get that poppycock idea? My duty is towards the circulation numbers. And while I'd love a shocker of a story, I'd rather not become the story, if you catch my drift.
Okay, dann halt nicht. Dann werde ich sie wohl packen müssen.
I've got my eye on you, McAllen.
Scheinbar. Gut, dann müssen wir wohl uns den letzten Ort angucken. Ich mache eine ganz kurze Pause, bin gleich wieder da. Im YouTube-Video kommt natürlich der Cut und dann gucken wir uns das Ding hier an. Bis gleich. Da sind wir wieder. Ah, okay. Dann gucken wir uns jetzt das noch an. Und dann gucken wir mal, was wir alles zusammen haben und was wir vielleicht auslösen können. Das war hier nochmal. Ich weiß gar nicht, was er gesagt hat. Ach, das ist das Fort. Ah.
On the tallest tower of the fort was a wrought iron Victorian lighthouse, clearly out of step with the fort's stone architecture. It was like seeing a pair of spectacles on Michelangelo's David. On the wall of the fort was a rusting metal plaque attributed to the Devil's Rock Historical Society.
Devil's Rock
On the wall of the fort was a rusting metal plaque
okay.
attributed to the Devil's Rock Historical Society. The lighthouse light was off. The plaque read, Fort de l'Humour, no public access. For further information, please contact the lighthouse keeper.
Achso, ich wollte gerade sagen, aber man kommt rein. Was ist mittens?
I jiggled the gate, but it wasn't going to open. If pirates and the colonial powers of Western Europe weren't able to get into the fort uninvited, I wasn't about to either.
That's true.
Blocking my entrance into the fort was a sturdy iron gate. On the wall, an electric lantern glowed brightly. There wasn't anything to do with the lantern. A coat of arms was carved in stone above the staircase. The coat of arms depicted 4 lions surrounding a central flower, topped by a medieval tower. A stone staircase ascended out of sight. I couldn't get to the staircase while the gate... A barrel marked gunpowder was being rocked by the cat perched on top of him. I could have tried squeezing my arms through the bars, but I already knew the barrel was too...
Sure.
The cat was staring at the lantern, mesmerized by the light. Here, kitty, kitty. Psst, 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 psst. It was no use. That cat was clearly more entranced by shiny things than the stranger outside the gate. The fish had been dead for years, was primarily comprised of stuffing, and smelled faintly of formaldehyde. The cat wasn't going to be interested in it in the slightest.
Oh. Huh?
The cat seemed too entranced by the light to notice me dangling a ball of twine out for it.
Haben wir ganz Fahrten.
The gate was too well set into the thick stone walls to be...
Schade. Shiny? Shiny?
With the newly polished brooch gleaming, I angled it towards the lantern, catching the light and reflecting a red beam on the wall.
Gunpowder!
It was the gunpowder barrel the cat had knocked over, now spilling out its contents onto the cold stone floor. I took a handful of the spilled gunpowder.
Hey, wir haben unser erstes Item.
It was a handful of black gunpowder that I was carrying around with me, contrary to any sense of self-preservation.
So, kann ich das jetzt schon in die Pouch packen? Gris.
I placed the gunpowder into the gree-gree.
Gree. Kann ich es denn jetzt wieder rausnehmen?
It was a small leather pouch with a drawstring used for magic spells. I'd marked off the ingredients I'd found on the manuscript.
Okay, also mit dem Gunpowder kann ich auch so nichts machen. Jetzt überlege, Black Feathers wüsste ich gerade noch gar nicht. Kreide auch nicht. Coffin Nails ja. Müssen sie nur aus dem Sarg wieder kriegen quasi. Bone Fragment. So.
It was a man.
Ich mal gucken, haben wir schon Bone Fragment durch den Skull?
I placed the jawbone into the gree-gree.
Dann war das gerade Gunpowder doch schon unser zweites. War zu doof. Was wollen wir noch? Ja, Rum werden wir wohl von den Dudes klauen können. Dann dürfte ich doch Rum.
It was a bottle filled with rum.
Ja, dann fülle ich doch. Okay, das probieren wir jetzt sofort aus. Das ist so offensichtlich. Waren ja jetzt auch überall. Die sind jetzt. Oh, die sind noch da. Okay. Das ist einfach nur immer die Entrance, dass man nicht vergisst, dass die da sind. Okay. Wir können doch bestimmt hier mit Barrel aufmachen.
Using the auger, I drilled a small hole in the barrel, and out poured rum.
Und das können wir doch bestimmt in die Flasche füllen. Ist zwar Wasser drin, aber... Ja.
I poured out the water, then began to fill the bottle with the rum pouring from the barrel. Relief washed over me at the realization that I'd done it without getting caught by the two rum runners.
Oh, shit.
Hey, Musket! There's someone out here!
Or so I thought.
Hey, fella, what do you think you're doing snooping around here? This is our church, you know, and it's closed.
Does he do some praying? I didn't realize we was. Okay. Guck mal oben an.
I'm just here to do some praying. Mainly praying that I get out of this situation without a puncture wound.
He's being a wise guy, Musket.
Time to fill him full of lead.
But, boss, it's bad luck to bump someone off in a churchyard.
Now, where'd you hear a nonsensical thing like that?
I thought churches was hallowed ground, where sin and immorality would face supernatural punishment in this world or the next.
Where do you get this stuff from? I told you, I do the thinking in this partnership.
Okay, bin ich einfach immer weggekommen. Kann ich da wieder hin? Okay, das ist kein Problem. Aber wir haben jetzt eine Bottle of Rum.
I poured the rum into the gree-gree.
Achso, so habe ich aber die Flasche wieder. Cool. Okay, kann ich das nochmal machen? Passiert da irgendwas?
I didn't need any more rum.
Okay. Hier rein komm ich
Wandering
auch nicht.
happily into the high.
Okay, also das war jetzt quasi das. Cool, 3 Sachen haben wir schon. Also wie gesagt, die 3 Sachen wüsste ich gerade gar nicht. Ich habe noch nichts gesehen, was mir irgendwie sowas bringen könnte. Coffin Nails, okay. Grease, ja. Nichts Neues. Irgendwas in der Stadt. Vielleicht nochmal mit den Leuten reden. Ist ja immer so ein Ding.
Welcome back.
I had nothing else to ask him.
Okay. Das ist, was wir uns im Mikroskop angucken sollten. wirklich. Ach, das habe ich vorhin noch gedacht. Was war denn hier? Was hier? Everything you need to make your own kazoo. Plus a book of sheet of music and press your friends. Just a comb and some tissue papers is all it takes to make music. Just send the coupon below with 5 cents secured attached to receive the required materials. Blah blah blah. These are 6 weeks for delivery. Okay. Irgendeine Company.
It was the magazine where I'd first read about the Belmore treasure. It was the magazine.
Okay. Okay. Jetzt können wir nur nochmal polischen für Time-Based, damit wir hier irgendwie was machen können. Das bringt ja jetzt auch irgendwie nichts Neues hier. Nee. Moin, Kimmen. Hola. Können wir, glaube ich, nichts machen. Oh, warte mal.
Welcome back.
Ich weiß immer noch nicht,
I thought I'd keep that to myself.
was wir mit dem Fisch machen sollten.
That didn't work.
Ich habe gedacht, ob man den ablenken könnte, damit man den Fisch austauscht, aber for what? Das hat noch nicht gestartet, also wird das wohl später sein. Was könnten wir denn hier noch so tun? Das ist sehr clever geplaced da oben, dass man hier schnell nach rechts kommt. Ich quatsch nochmal mit Ned.
I decided to leave Ned to his fishing.
Oder auch nicht.
I could.
Es macht halt grad gar keinen Sinn, irgendwas zu
I
wiegen.
didn't.
Okay.
The fishing net was worn and useless.
Das abschneiden.
The net was so worn that even if I had cut it down, I'd have no use for it.
Dann fällt mir ein, könnten wir gucken, ob wir hiermit die Wäsche bewegen
Clothes were
können.
going to be fine drying on their own.
Schade.
Anything to report?
I'm keeping my eyes open.
Ich habe jetzt nichts Neues. Ne?
Evelyn seemed busy and I didn't have any.
Damit könnten wir ihr jetzt auch nichts anhaben.
I didn't need.
Hiermit irgendwas an der Presse machen.
I couldn't do that.
Eine Idee gewesen. Irgendwie ihr Papier hier wegblasen.
I thought I'd.
Naja. Was ist denn left? Ich meine, hierfür habe ich immer noch nicht das Foto. Aber nicht, dass hier da was anderes geht. Nö. Ja, du darfst rennen, du. Wie gesagt, ich habe niemanden mit Kreide gesehen. Wüsste ich jetzt auch nicht, was geht. Hier ist ja irgendwie auch nichts mehr. Es taucht jetzt auch nichts Neues auf. Aber wir brauchen noch Coffin Nails, Chalk, Black Feathers, Silver. Können wir hinterm Haus noch was machen? Mit der Leiche jetzt vielleicht? Ich wüsste jetzt nicht genau was.
It was the full moon.
Ist nichts mehr. Wir haben den Schlüssel nicht, um da hochzukommen. Das hier war jetzt nichts, da waren wir oben, das haben wir. Hier ist noch das The Molotov. Das Carriage Wheel haben wir auch noch, aber das ist zu schwer. Oh, das könnten wir hier mit hochheben.
I couldn't do.
Schade. Ja, das hier ist jetzt wirklich schlecht.
I didn't need.
Nein. Was? Können hier mit was am Tree machen?
I didn't need.
Ach, schade.
That wasn't.
Oh, mit dem...
I couldn't do that.
Schade. Was kombinieren, was Sinn macht.
Nope. Nope.
Magnet.
I couldn't.
Schade.
That wasn't going to.
Okay, hier können wir irgendwie nichts weiter machen. Okay.
It was a ramshackle chicken coop. Cluck, cluck. Buck, buck, buck. I tried to
Hatten wir schon. Da reinblasen.
The blast of air may have dislodged some feathers, but there was no chance of them flying out the small opening. I needed to lure the chicken out.
Habe ich nichts. Nee. Warum kann man den
The wood was old and rotting. It wasn't going to be of any use. I didn't need to...
Hätte sein können. Sorry.
That didn't.
Hm. Release.
That didn't work.
Sinn, das wieder dreckig zu machen. Bisschen aufgeschmissen.
I didn't need to cut that. I didn't want to make a hole in that.
Schade. Hätte ja klappen können. Gut, die Tür kriegen wir auch nicht auf. Wir haben jetzt auch nichts, womit wir
That wasn't going...
irgendwie an den Kabeln rumspielen könnten. Das
That
macht keinen
didn't
Sinn.
work.
Ich bin mal ein bisschen gefragt. Was soll ich denn da machen?
Now that I had a fish, the dock seemed like a good place to do something with it.
Oh, man kriegt nach einer Zeit einfach sowas wie so einen Tipp. Okay.
What do you think of my fish?
That's a whopper. Hang it on the scale and let's see what it weighs.
Ah,
Gotta be Squib's record, though.
Der ausgestopfte Fisch. Ah, damit könnte ich in die Zeitung kommen. Dann kann ich ein Foto machen.
I hung the fish on the scales.
You caught a pincosa. They're the most delicious fish around here, especially grilled. But you'll never beat Squib's record.
Muss ich auch nicht.
Jebediah Squibb, the Cajun catcher he calls himself. Last week at the dead of the docks, Squibb caught the heaviest pincosa on record. Got his photograph on the front page of the newspaper and everything. Now how am I going to rest while he brags and boasts about it every single night?
Also wir müssen den Fisch schwerer machen. Könnte man ja.
With its innards made of cotton and material scraps, the fish's weight was distinctly unimpressive.
Okay, aber da könnte man ja...
That didn't work. I didn't need to wear the brooch, and obviously it's...
Ja.
Nope. With the ripped seam as an opening, I placed the horseshoe inside the taxidermy fish. Now it was heavy.
Okay. Dann könnten wir tragisch ein Foto kriegen, könnten das in den Captain's Pass packen, könnten den Captain's Pass in den Captain's packen.
Mac, does that say what I think it does? You've been holding back on me. That breaks Squibb's record.
McAllen! How does it feel to have decimated the town record in your first few hours on the island?
How did you hear about this so fast?
It's my job to know about things fast. Now, I'm asking the questions here. Where'd you get the fish, McAllen?
Well, it was a mighty battle on the southern coast. Its fins strong as a motor, its mouth as fierce as a tiger's. I paused dramatically to allow my fishing prowess to wash over them.
What rod did you use?
Wooden one?
I mean, what make?
You know, I didn't use a rod.
You caught the fish without a rod?
It was more one-on-one. Mono fisho.
You wrestled a fish?
And I won.
Well, as much as it pains me to say it, you're the cover story in the next edition of the Juniper Parish Gazette. And this is why I'm not getting a Pulitzer.
Hast du nicht genug Fotos von mir gemacht im Stehen? Okay.
I've got to hand it to you, Mac. That fish is a whopper. I don't know how you got it, but as long as he keeps Squibb quiet at the porch party tomorrow, I ain't complaining.
I'd had enough of carrying these suspiciously heavy fish around. I decided to leave it there.
Okay, also es ist jetzt auch gone. Ja, kann ich nichts mehr mitmachen. Okay. Das heißt, es sind 2 Items aus dem Menü raus. Das ist ja auch mal nicht schlecht aus dem Inventar.
Murphy, have you seen the cover of the evening edition? I think we caught your personality perfectly in that photograph. Naive, simple, unsophisticated. Makes it all the more surprising that you actually accomplished something.
I wonder if I should have it framed.
That'll cost you.
Okay, jetzt habe ich aber immer noch nicht das... Ah, Newspaper.
Hey, those cost money, you know.
But it has my photograph on it.
The Do Not Serve board down at Spinelli's bar has my photograph on it. But that doesn't mean I can just pick it up and walk out with it, does it?
Ich habe ein bisschen Money.
I'd like to buy a newspaper.
Finally, I get something out of you loitering in here. That'll be 1 cent, please.
1 Cent. Ich habe immer noch Money.
I picked up the newspaper. The fewer people that saw it, the better.
Hey, ein Foto von mir. Island Newcomb. Ah, jetzt wissen wir es auch. Es ist immer noch 7. Oktober 33. Weather Fair, Weather Fair. This guy ist schade, ich dachte was mit Federn. Island Newcomer breaks fishing record. Last week's record-breaking catch of the Pincosa fish by local fisherman Jebediah Squib has been rapidly smashed by a newcomer to the island, state auditor Murphy McCullough. Squib had managed to catch the heaviest Pincosa fish since records began nearly 8 decades ago, but it proved no match to the vagrant newcomer. With a face dribbling with naivety, simplicity, and bewilderment, Murphy McCullough struggled to find the words to communicate his unlikely accomplishment. Was it beginner's luck, foul play? Whatever it was, we can be confident it wasn't fishing prowess, as Murphy McCullough looks the type more likely to be looked blah 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 blah. Okay.
The headline read, Island Newcomer breaks fishing record, with my photograph printed in black and white. The headline read...
Umblättern oder so. Okay. Aber damit, was hier machen, glaube ich, wir jetzt hier ein Foto ausmachen.
Carefully, I cut my photograph out of the newspaper. It was the photograph of myself I'd cut out of the newspaper. It was the photograph...
Ja. Einfach da reinmachen.
I was going to need something adhesive to stick it in with.
War ja klar. Das müsste dann ja der komische Molasse sein. Diese Quick-Travel-Geschichten sind schon geil. Und das einfach hier machen. Einfach dran pappen. Nice.
I touched the back of the photograph to the molasses.
Und hier.
Thanks to the stickiness of the molasses, the photograph adhered nicely to the captain's license.
Yay! Wir sind Cornelius Not. Aber das Ding ist abgelaufen. Das frage ich mich noch, ob das ein Problem sein könnte. Ja. Versuchen wir es. Mal wieder speichern, bevor wir da reingehen. Haut ja doch nicht immer so ein Autosave, ne? Sondern das war vorhin ist einmal der ganze PC abgestürzt.
My credentials.
You're telling me you are a captain?
I trust it's all in order.
I thought you said your name was Murphy McCullough.
That's right.
Then why does this say Captain Not?
It's a pseudonym for marketing purposes. You've got to stand out nowadays. A cool name's a good way to do that. You didn't think Captain Hook was called Hook before the hand incident, did you? What would the odds of that have been?
Look, Sonny, the bylaws of this club only allow the club manager to verify a captain's license. And Mr. Perkins is enjoying his backgammon soiree with Mrs. Perkins and the ladies this evening, with strict instructions not to be disturbed. So I'll accept this for tonight, but try this again tomorrow night and it'll be another story. Now, with that said, a warm and hearty welcome to the Captain's Club. We sincerely hope you make use of and enjoy our facilities, and do please let me know if I can be of any assistance at all. We don't open for another hour, but if you'd like, you can head up now to acquaint yourself.
Nice. Aber wir können auch den Elevator benutzen.
I waited for the doors of the elevator to open, but nothing happened.
If you wish to use the elevator, I'm afraid to tell you it's broken. You'll have to endure the stairs.
Fair enough.
Der Captain's Floor. Auf geht's. Ist das neu? Okay.
A painted globe stood at the top of the stairs. The pinpricks across its surface implied it had either been used to plot out perilous voyages across the ocean waves or served as a replacement dartboard. While I was trapped on Devil's Rock, a map of the world wasn't going to be much use to me. The ceiling fans were on. An elegant glass-paneled cabinet stood against the wall, holding billiards equipment and a sparkling trophy in the shape of an 8-ball. The cabinet was locked.
Natürlich.
The ceiling fans were on. The room was dominated by a large wooden billiard table.
Kreide.
Its hand-carved Baroque cabinet presenting a sharp contrast to the faded and ripped baize that topped it. I picked up the cube of billiard chalk from the edge of the table. I placed the chalk into the gree-gree.
We got something.
The switch seemed to control the ceiling fans.
Okay. Was immer das bedeuten sollte.
I considered playing a game, but the lack of balls and cues was going to be a roadblock.
Gehen wir doch mal gucken.
The door was locked.
Damn it, das ist alles, was wir machen können? Shit. Fehlen immer noch 3 Sachen. Okay, was könnte denn hier irgendwas bringen? Den hochheben?
Nope. That wasn't going to...
Komisch. Ist irgendwie
The
auf.
glass front would have shattered if I tried to force it open, and I didn't want to get kicked.
Ja, okay. Ist ja okay.
I didn't...
Den hochheben. Bisschen weird.
I didn't... There was a door leading out onto the balcony.
Was soll das hier bringen? Warum kann man die an- und ausmachen? Ist da was dranhängen?
I needed to think of...
Aber warum sollte ich irgendwas schleudern müssen? Das macht ja auch keinen Sinn.
I needed to think...
Noch ein Loch reinmachen?
I didn't...
Nein. So.
It was a dime. The last month...
Weniger Money.
I had nothing else to say to Felix, and I doubted he had anything to say to me.
Hier ist noch das
The
komische
courtyard echoed with the There was nothing in the fountain except a rim of moss.
Wieder Wasser in die Flasche packen.
I filled the bottle with water.
Warum auch immer. Ist hier kann er auch nichts.
I thought better of swimming out. The tip of a wooden boat poked above the water.
Das macht ja auch keinen Sinn. Was macht denn Sinn? Können wir mit ihm noch reden? Jetzt haben wir den
I
Fisch
decided
geholt
to leave Ned.
Er hat auch nichts mehr zu sagen, I guess.
Anything to report?
I'm keeping my... Evelyn seemed busy.
Printing Press können wir auch nichts machen. Kommen wir hier auch immer noch nicht hin, ne?
Hey, you can't...
Sorry. I didn't need...
Schade.
That wasn't going... I needed to think of...
Okay, hat's ein bisschen wieder aufgeschmissen. Bei dem Juwelier... Ich weiß nicht, was das bringen soll, aber wir könnten quasi ein Loch in das Fischglas bohren.
Welcome back.
Versuchen es mal.
Could you polish...
Jetzt haben wir heute mal kurz Zeit für etwas. Ah, wir können das hier abmachen.
I didn't want to make a... That didn't work.
Schon vorbei. Crazy.
Here you...
Thank you.
Das macht hier alles keinen Sinn. Flasche ging nicht.
It was a gold
Das
leaf
sich ab.
cover. I inspected the carving. Its woodworm-dotted surface and water-stained edges suggested it had once been much more than...
Das hier angucken, die Flasche.
While the microscope was meant for jewelry, I would...
Nichts, was ich mir nah angucken muss. Ich meine, hier haben wir... Ist jetzt keine goldene Coin. Die irgendwie Sinn machen würde. Ach ne, wir brauchen ja noch eine Silver Coin. Das recht nicht. Nee. Das hier unter auch noch gar nichts.
That didn't...
Das macht alles irgendwie keinen Sinn. Hier war ja auch gar nichts mehr.
That didn't work.
Da hinten ist nichts. Den Sack können wir irgendwie auch nichts machen eigentlich.
The
Aufschneiden.
burlap sack was too thick to cut through.
Oh, für den Sack aufschneiden. Oder? Ah.
I cut into the sack with the knife, revealing it to be full of corn.
Oh, geil. Damit können wir doch bestimmt die
I took the corn from the sack.
damit können wir die Hühner auslocken. Und das schwarze Hühner, Black Feathers.
I scattered the corn on the path. Mere seconds later, it attracted the attention of the curious chicken.
Okay, ich kann das machen. Okay, Chicken.
I was glad nobody had seen that. I may have known how to handle a chicken drumstick, but wrestling the living version was altogether different.
Jetzt was anderes machen?
Now that the chicken was enjoying the fresh air, there was nothing of interest in the chicken coop.
Okay. Was würde denn... Nein, oder? Nein.
I may have needed feathers, but I didn't want to hurt the chicken to get them.
Ja, okay, got it. Got it. I'm sorry.
If the chicken didn't want me to touch it, perhaps a blast of air could do the trick.
Aber was für ein Trick? Was sollen wir denn... Was will ich denn mit dem Chicken? Ah, ich muss die noch schwarz machen. Ah, vielleicht wenn der Zeitungstante, die hat den Bucket mit der schwarzen Tinte. Okay.
Anything to report?
I'm keep...
Nö. Yay.
Delicately, I dipped the feathers into the canister of ink. When they emerged, they were dyed jet black.
Also, dass man so Voodoo-Zauber machen kann, ist schon weird. Wir brauchen schwarze Federn, also nehmen wir weiße und machen sie schwarz.
I placed the feathers into the gree-gree.
Das funktioniert. Okay, dann fehlen nur noch Silver Coin und Coffin Nails. Silver Coin, gar keine Ahnung. Coffin Nails, ich habe noch gar keinen Plan, was der... so, was der Dude von uns haben wollen könnte.
I thought I'd leave Edgar alone for... I didn't... The stove was... I needed to think...
Oh,
That wasn't going...
schade. Loch in den
The
Sarg
gentleman inside the coffin was long past needing air holes. I didn't want the gravedigger to catch me putting it back. I decided to hang on to it for now.
Ist das ein Silver Coin?
I placed the dime into the gree-gree. That would work as the silver coin.
Okay, so funktioniert das. Ich dachte, das Silver Coin muss schon so wie so eine Schatzmünze sein, aber nicht einfach ein Dime. Ja, gut. Dann brauchen wir nur noch Coffin Nails. Und die sind hier gerade drin. Beziehungsweise eher... Ja. Auch die gerade nicht. Tin Can. Ist einfach nur eine leere Tin Can. Damit irgendwas machen?
I didn't need to blow on that.
Löcher reinmachen. Schnur dran machen?
I needed to...
Oh. Okay.
I tied the twine to the uneven table and took up a hiding spot behind a nearby
Ach,
wall.
damit das aussieht, als würde das wackeln, damit das aufmacht. Ah, weil er Angst hat, dass Leute denken, er verbuddelt
Hello? Hello? Why is it so dark in here?
lebende Leute.
Huh? Who's that?
I'm stuck. Help! Help!
Mallory, if that's you again.
Get me out of this thing.
Oh no, not again.
Not again, also hat das doch gemacht. Hat er doch schon mal jemanden eingesagt, der noch lebt?
Mister, are you okay? I'm so sorry. I was told... Mister? Oh, God darn it! Next time I see that girl, I'm gonna have a peewee-sized coffin all ready for her. A few hours locked in one of those should adjust her sense of humor.
Okay, muss ich mir jetzt irgendwo die Nägel holen? Da sie in den Tin Can.
Searching the dead man's body was not something... I'd never seen a dead body before.
Okay, wir haben alles. Geil.
I picked up the handful of discarded coffin nails from the tin.
Wollen wir mit ihm reden?
Hello, Edgar.
Yeah,
Who is it you're burying?
this is Theodore Grimes. He was the...
Comptroller for Juniper Parish?
That's right. You knew him?
We were supposed to have a meeting. Clearly he's going to miss it.
Sure is. Now he's the late Comptroller Grimes.
Okay.
I best...
Goodbye.
Okay. So, Nägel rein.
I placed the coffin nails in the gree-gree. I'd done it. All 7 ingredients for the summoning spell. Now I needed to head back to the Spirit Queen.
Okay. Das bedeutet, wir könnten in der Manor die ganzen Geister ansehen. Ah, warte, das probiere ich noch aus. Ich dachte gerade, okay, Wagenheber, gleich für den Wagen.
I didn't need to do any mechanical...
Okay. Dass ich hier das Horn blasen kann. Sieht die da drin auch nicht. Okay. Nee. Ja. Oh.
I thought I'd find you out here, McAllen.
Evelyn, lovely to see you out in the bayou again.
This will be the last time, McAllen, I'm not your secretary. I don't know what you're up to out here, but I'll figure it out soon enough. But for now, let's hurry it up. These shoes are alligator skin, and I don't want the local fauna recognizing an old friend. Another telegram came through for you, marked urgent. Kip said you might be out here.
My boss again?
Got it in one.
McAllen, Report back immediately. Received word Grimes is deceased.
Oh.
Lack of resources has made this a waste of time. And I've cottoned onto your little stunt with the Friday signatures. When you get back here, sorting mail is gonna be the least of your worries. Sid Sinclair Auditing Company.
I couldn't believe what I was hearing. On a night when I'd just seen a ghost, this telegram was almost more unbelievable. There was more to the Belmore story than I could have ever imagined. Now I was being pulled away to a job I didn't want to work, and a life I didn't want to live. Maybe it was time to do something a little foolish. Do I still have that prepaid reply?
Sure do. What do you want it to say?
Passt schon.
Tell him I quit. I couldn't believe what I'd done. I'd quit my job and opened the first chapter in my own adventure. But without a job, I didn't have a salary. Without a salary, I wouldn't have a place to live. And it suddenly became more important than ever that I find that treasure. For me this time.
I want the money.
Murphy, have you found all 7 ingredients?
I have.
Wonderful! Now it is time for the final step. Out of the darkness, the sadness, the fear, I command you, my servant, now to appear.
I have returned, Master. What is your desire?
The ingredients have been gathered. The final step of the spell is ready. The focus.
The focus of the spell is whatever you are casting it upon. Belmore Manor is where the ghosts reside. An image of Belmore Manor is what you must use to direct the spell.
Zeitschrift.
Murphy, do you have an image of Belmore Manor we can use?
You can be sure I have. Kann ich noch irgendwas machen?
The riverboat was dotted with lit, just the ambience you need in a voodoo den. In the center of the room was a huge... Gazing into the spirit pool, I didn't need to talk to the Loa. The Loa looked like a mixture of fire and water, glowing, and even without a face, I knew it was staring at me.
Bin immer noch der Meinung, vielleicht macht der hier Scheiße. Also der war Actor, Theater und bla, inszeniert sich, das hier nicht irgendwie Bullshit ist.
I didn't need to talk to the witch doctor yet.
Okay.
I folded the magazine cover and placed it inside the gree-gree.
The spell is ready. Finally, the ghosts will be free again. Open the gree-gree, Murphy, and that will cast the spell.
With some trepidation, I took the gree-gree from my pocket and with a deep breath, opened it.
Hey, okay, die Ghosts sind wieder am Start. Wenn wir anfangen, das Rätsel zu lösen.
At last, I am free.
Servant, what's happening?
I was never your servant.
I am your master. You shall do my bidding. I command you.
Foolish mortal.
Hey.
You have served your purpose. No longer do I need to manifest as an ephemeral specter. Now my true spirit form is freed.
Loa, do as I say.
You are of no more use to me.
What the fuck?
I wasn't sure what I'd just seen, but the voodoo fire raging all around me was all too real. I needed to get out, and fast.
What? Muss was machen?
I wasn't going to be able to put the flames... I needed to get out of the riverboat. I wasn't going to... Gazing into the spirit... Surrounded by... Even if the phrase was...
Wir haben doch noch Wasser in der Flasche. Reicht das? Ja, das sieht echt cool aus. Schöne Grafik, sag ich mal. Das ist die Bride? Ja. Die hat uns aus dem Fenster geschmissen. Ah, nicht schon wieder. Okay. Hey, das war Part 1. The Love Antidote ist Part 2. Okay. Das war schon mal ein cooler Anfang nach dem Prolog. Bisschen easy.
As I opened my eyes, I realized I had no idea where I was. Hello? Hello? This wasn't good. I checked my hands and still seemed to be flesh and blood. What's happening? Where am I?
Welcome back to Belmore Manor, Murphy McCallum. We didn't expect to see you again so soon.
What's going on? Am I dead?
Don't be so overdramatic, Murphy. You're still very much alive. But you're the only person in the house that is. I'm afraid your actions have caused a good bit of trouble for us inhabitants of the house.
What's happened?
Let's see if you can figure it out. We're about to play a song, and Murphy McCallum, this one is for you. All right, all you Belmore Manor ghosts and ghouls, let's take it to a place where voodoo rules. A house of spirits, but we know of one with evil intentions, and now no preventions to harm their evil scheme. Okay. You're now implicated in this complicated supernatural dream. You cast the spell, now the deed is done. Evil's free, the plan has just begun. Without your detection, we'll have no protection from the Machiavellian game. You set them loose, so you have to deduce who is ill and who is to blame. And self-detested, we'll ask you questions 3.
Okay.
Draw on clues to solve the mystery. You'll offer the bar, the devil of God. Questions surrounded in doubt. The officer, bride, the sailor, or guide, Murphy. Can you figure it out?
It's cool.
Can you figure it out? Broken heart stolen by another. Tell us now who is the lover.
Jetzt? Oh, wir wissen es nicht. Okay, Moment. Scheiße. Ich dachte, das ist jetzt so Part 2, findet das raus. Also das ist ja gemein. Warte mal, die Bride war mit dem Sailor zusammen. Also die Braut mit dem Segler oder mit dem Matrosen. Obwohl sie eigentlich irgendwas Hochrangiges hätte heiraten sollen. So, die waren in Love. In der Zeit sind die 3 Brüder verschwunden. Bis zur Wedding. Dann kam der Officer dazu, der Sailor war weg und dann hat sie plötzlich an ihrem Wedding-Tag gesagt, okay, ich heirate den Officer, der was Hochrangiges ist. Also der Devil ist der alle dann umgebracht hat oder hat verschwinden lassen. Porn ist der nur ausgenutzt wurde. Okay, alle haben halt eine andere Story erzählt. Interessant. Also ich finde, das Offensichtlichste wäre ja, die hat wirklich den Sailor geliebt. Ich meine, ich habe die Schmuckschatulle aufgemacht. Da hat die Bride mich rausgeschmissen. Da war die richtig, also die wollte, dass ich rausgebe aus ihrem Zimmer. Vielleicht einmal, weil sie dachte, ich bin böse oder so. Keine Ahnung. Die schönste Story wäre natürlich, die hat den Sailor geliebt. Und dann wurde sie halt eingeschüchtert vom Officer oder wie auch immer, der vielleicht die Brüder hat verschwinden lassen mit Dark Magic, keine Ahnung. Das heißt, der Officer wäre der Devil und der Sailor wurde nur ausgenutzt. Dann sag ich, die Bride was the lover. Komm, wir machen das so.
I think the bride was the lover.
A girl in love and a dream to wed. But does she know what cannot be said?
Vielleicht.
Are the people around her just that to confound her? A love that must end with them dead. A sunset life, no chance for dawn. Tell us now who is the born.
Das wäre halt die logischste Story, aber ne, manche haben andere Ideen gehabt. So heißt, den, in den sie verliebt waren, der war der
I think
ausgenutzt
the
wurde.
sailor was the pawn.
A sailor forced into a wicked deal, a bride to woo, a heart to steal, a sinister threat if he ever should get found out that his love isn't real. Wicked spirited, evil rebel, tell us now who is the devil.
I think the officer was the devil.
The Belmore fortune, his work has grown. He wants that work all to be his own. If the bride was away, then the fortune will stay. Choose the riches to be his alone. Murphy tried.
Oh,
but
falsch.
it wasn't right. The real story might give you a fright. You gave your best guess, but it's not a success in these paranormal days. We'll re-sing a song, try to see where you're wrong.
Okay.
Try again while your hope still remains. The broken hearts.
Jetzt dürfen wir aber, okay, wir dürfen das aber nochmal machen.
Tell us now who is the lover.
Okay, das ist nicht die Bride. Dann wäre ja die Möglichkeit, dass der Sailor der Einzige war, der wirklich verliebt war.
I think the sailor was the lover.
Someone in love and their love is true. Is it return? What is there to do? They're caught in the middle of baffling riddles. Is love what can carry them through? A sunset life, no chance for dawn.
So würde ich jetzt sagen, der Sailor war wirklich in Annabelle, in die Braut verliebt. Die hat ihn aber nur ausgenutzt. Beziehungsweise, nee. Ja, ich würde sagen, die Bride ist dann in diesem Szenario der Devil.
I think the officer was the pawn.
Hat den Officer auch ausgenutzt.
A man of knowledge and a wish to mend. The one he helps, but are they really friends? Take all that he knows and then leaving just woes. And so what are the sirens' true ends? Wicked spirited, evil rebel, tell us now who is the devil.
Das Schockierendste wäre, wenn die Braut das Böse wäre.
I think the bride was the devil.
Our face of beauty to those in her spell, but with a wish to drag them all to hell. Serving the voodoo, the evil has come through. Just like that, she's doomed as well. Murphy tried,
Ah, schon wieder
but
falsch.
it wasn't right.
Kann ich das
The
vorspulen?
real story might
Oh, nee.
give you a fright. You gave your best
Okay, das ist schade, aber es kommen jedes Mal neue Lyrics.
Try to see where you're wrong. Try again while your hope still remains.
Okay, dann wäre die Möglichkeit, es ist aber nur andersrum. Also, Abigail ist immer noch böse. Aber in Wirklichkeit war der Officer, der sie dann am Ende heiraten sollte, der wirkliche Lover und sie hat ihn halt verarscht. Dann wäre der
I
Officer
think
der
the
Lover.
officer was the.
A man of wealth, but the thing that he needs, he has a heart like any human bleeds. Is his wealth only known by the dollars he's grown? His heart overlooked for his deeds. A sunset life, no chance for dawn. Tell us now who is.
Wäre das jetzt der Sailor?
I think the sailor was the pawn.
A sailor let down a hideous track. His heart now twisted for a vile attack. She convinced him to kill, and he loves her still. What's his fate when love's not given back? Wicked spirited, evil rebel. Tell us now who is the devil.
I think the bride was the devil.
Okay, wäre krass, wenn nicht. Also dann wäre es komisch, wäre es keine heftige Auflösung.
Fortune with the brothers gone, the foolish sailor, her love for him a kind. She'll marry the man who can keep with a plan. For her heart, it's gold, that's the one. But he tried.
Damn it!
It wasn't right.
Okay, gut, die Braut hat uns ja auch hier reingebracht.
Give you a fright. You gave your best guess, but it's not a success in these paranormal days. We sing a song, try to see where you're wrong. Try again while your hopes still remain.
Okay, das dauert ein bisschen zu lange, muss man sagen.
Tell us now who is the lover.
Also wir hatten schon alle, aber die Idee vorher war ja, der Sailor ist the Lover, Bride ist Lover, Sailor ist the Pawn, Officer ist falsch. Gehen wir davon aus, der Officer ist weiterhin der Böse. Nee, wir machen mal den Sailor als Bösen. Wir machen den Sailor als Bösen. Wir sagen mal, die Braut war verliebt in den Sailor.
I think the bride was the.
Ja, wir müssen es nochmal machen, bis wir durchkommen. Jetzt kommen wir nicht raus.
A girl in love and a dream to wed. But does she know what cannot be said? Are the people around her just that to confound her? A love that must end with them dead. A sunset life, no chance for dawn. Tell us now who is the pawn.
Genau, vorhin dachte ich, ist der Officer der Böse und der Sailor der Pawn, aber vielleicht war es wirklich der Officer.
I think the officer was the pawn.
A man in love with her charm and skill, tricked to give just what would bring her ill. His lover now hexed, so what to do next? He's the one who released what will kill. Wicked spirited, evil rebel, tell us now who is the devil.
Oder ist Sailor die
I
ganze Zeit
think
der
the
Böse?
sailor was the devil.
He wanted love, but now a curse begun. If he can't have her, then no one can. He feels he deceived, now she won't be reprieved. Free hearts broken, no power of applying. But he tried,
Damn it!
but
Das
it
gibt's doch gar nicht.
wasn't right. The real story might give you a fright. You gave your
Bevor wir das
best
jetzt
guess,
1000-mal machen, ne?
success in these paranormal days. We sing a song, try
ich aber
to
nach.
see where you're wrong.
Lover, Pawn, Devil.
While your hopes still remain.
Ah, okay. Ja, der Officer ist der Devil, wir haben es falsch gemacht. Okay.
Heart stolen by another. Tell us now who is the lover.
Jetzt nachgeguckt, aber dafür dauert das jetzt so. So, der Sailor war tatsächlich verliebt.
I think the sailor was the lover.
Die Abigail, die Braut, wurde nur ausgenutzt und der Officer ist der Böse.
Someone in love and their love is true. Is it return? What is there to do? They're caught in the middle of baffling riddles. Is love what can carry them through? A sense of life, no chance for dawn. Tell us now who is the pawn?
I think the bride was the pawn.
A bride in love, but in some evil curse, immersed in voodoo and things perverse. She cannot protest, and her mind's not possessed of things that only get worse. Wicked spirits in evil revel. Tell us now who is the devil?
I think the officer was the devil.
A phantom figure who's now in control. Black magic powers got things he stole. But maybe it's set back, but he's gonna get back, and we'll worry that goes down its go.
Yay!
Maybe you listened and now you've done it. You took a gamble and you have won it. A bride in a sail and a sailor's farewell, and an officer pulling the strings. A hostage filled with voodoo, and yes, we know like you do. To fix it, we'll take some strange things. To test it, we asked you question 3. You drew clues and solved the mystery. The officer, bride, and the sailor all died. Questions surrounded in doubt. The lover, the pawn, the devil are gone. Murphy, you figured it out. And there's too much. The fool is false. Blind treasures trapped in hidden vaults. You may think you are done, but it's all just begun. It's time for the ghostly debut.
Nope.
So say trick or treat, 'cause there's a goal to defeat. And Murphy, we hope that you do. Or guess what? You'll have to lie to
Wenn wir das Rätsel nicht lösen, sterben wir auch. Ah. So sind wir, Männer.
have to die too.
I was back in Belmore Manor, and although it was better than being dead, I didn't know what was awaiting me.
Okay. Ja, das wäre jetzt einfach wieder Next Step. Jetzt ist ja auch mal Licht an in diesem Fall. Aber das ist Part 2. Wir haben jetzt Part 1 abgeschlossen und das Musikrätsel noch gelöst. Das war leider gemogelt. Beenden wir es hier erstmal für heute. Machen wir morgen weiter. Und spielen den nächsten Teil vielleicht auch einfach das Spiel durch. Ich weiß nicht, ich glaube, es soll so 10, 12 Stunden ungefähr dauern. Könnte, glaube ich, schneller sein, aber wir haben jetzt auch uns Zeit gelassen. Aber machen wir erstmal einen Cut. YouTube, das war's mit dem Teil. Der nächste Teil ist spätestens morgen online. Vielleicht auch schon früher. Ich weiß gar nicht, wie ich den Upload-Rhythmus mache, aber seht ihr ja gerade, das ist ja dann uploaded. Alles klar, YouTube. Bis später, bis zum nächsten Mal und Baba Hüss.